Good evening. Welcome to Stars International. My name is Frank Allen, and I will be your host this evening. The views and opinions expressed on our show are not necessarily the views or opinions of Targeted Massachusetts or Stars International. And I'm sorry for the big mix-up tonight. I've been making it known for a couple of weeks now that we're changing to 9 p.m. Eastern for Friday, because I've found that the hours between 6 and 8 are kind of slim. So I'll take a poll at the end of the night to see who would rather have it at 6 and who would rather have it at 9. So, I'm willing to listen. But we had some interesting information come in again today. C-SPAN has more video footage of the discovery that alluded to the fact that attacks in Cuba and China are in fact microwave and radio frequency weapons. So that's very interesting. The stuff is coming out of the walls finally. I think we're going to hear a lot more too. Dr. Millicent Black will be joining us at approximately 9:30, and she is or has a doctorate in theology. And many have written and asked about religion and why we don't bring it up. So I will let a professional talk about the relationships between targeting and religion. And she is very accomplished. She's a wonderful speaker, and I'm sure you'll be all very impressed. I know I've listened to her, and I've totally enjoyed it. So, does anybody have anything to say? Good evening, callers. Good evening, Butterfly, Clear Clue, Scott, and Wide-Eyed.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Very good. I'm glad to hear you.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear. I'm calling from Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore, Maryland. Okay. Well, it's great to have some Southern East Coast people on. Okay, and your first name is?
My first name is Paige. My last name is Harris. Paige Harris.
Okay. Okay, great. Let me see. I was trying to make a phone call today to a friend out in California, and it got to the point where I could not call her hotel. They would plug in the number, and it would sound like the only thing I can compare it to is UK police sirens. That's what it sounded like. It's the old out of order signal. I don't know if anybody remembers that. But anyway, I spent like a half an hour, and she finally had to call me back and use her restricted hotel line to do it. And it proved to be pretty interesting. And you talk to the hotel clerk, and he just says, well, I plugged in the number, and, obviously didn't work. Hi, Targeted Pride. Dan, Kathy. Kathy, we couldn't get a hold of you to let you know that we switched to 9. So we had to just sort of let you go at around, I stayed redirecting people, I think, till around 7:30, I think. Hey, Jack. Good evening, Millicent. Dr. Black is here, so.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, very good. It's nice to hear you. And when you get ready to speak, we'll mute the entire room so you can not have any interruptions. And then if you choose to, you can have some people ask you questions. And this all fell into place like magic almost, because I've had a number of people email me and text me on religion and why we don't talk about it, or we should talk about it. And this just worked out perfectly, because not only do we have a professional, but we have actually a doctor of theology to discuss the relationship between religion and targeting, and some of the things that she has run into. Hi, Scott, in case I missed you. So it'll be
Hi, Dr. Black.
That's
Hello.
Paula.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. You remember me?
I do.
Yeah, this is Paula.
You over in Pennsylvania?
No, I'm in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Okay, you were referred by Letty.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, a while ago. Yeah.
Where is Letty today? I haven't seen Letty, heard from Letty for quite some time.
She called me last week, and I told her to get on the call.
Yeah.
She said she do be on Ella's call sometime, but she said she does some other type of call on Tuesdays and another day, some type of prayer call.
Yeah.
Do you know about that, Dr. Black?
I think someone named Julie has a prayer call Wednesday nights.
Mhm.
Yeah. Our prayer call is Monday through Friday mornings.
Yeah, you can let.
Do you know anything about? Oh, I was going to ask her. Did she know anything about Letty having a prayer call on Tuesday nights and Thursdays? I think. I don't know.
She can't
Tuesdays
listen
or something.
She can't listen to Ella unless she has her prayer call pretty early.
I think it is earlier. I think it is before. But I told her I was on Kate or 7.
All right.
And then I get on Ella's.
Okay. Dr. Black, if you'd like to get started, we're starting to have some people roll in already. That's purely up to yourself. But yeah, it looks good. It's starting to look good.
Okay, I have a fan. Can you hear that at all?
Excuse me?
I have a fan running.
Oh, yeah.
Can you hear that?
No, not at all. I have one running as well. I hope that no one can hear that. Okay, so without any further interruptions for a while, if you're ready, Dr. Black, you can take the floor.
Oh, well, okay. Good evening, everyone. I want to Okay, let me try this again. I got muted. Good evening, everyone. I want to thank Frank for inviting me to talk with you tonight. I had shared with him a few days ago about a news break that I did with Romola D regarding the use of the Fitbit watch to gather evidence of sleep deprivation. You can get heart manipulation during the night, as well as evidence that you actually are burning fat for those of us who have difficulty with the perps adding fluid to our bodies to increase our body weight, which is called body manipulation. I have had, in the last 7 years, I've had 4 sleep studies done. I've had 3 done here in Tennessee and 1 done in Ohio, and all of them confirmed that I was aroused during the night. The first one showed that I was being aroused, and he said it's external, which means that radio frequencies are being sent to my brain to bring me to the half awake, half asleep state, and it was 24 times an hour. The first one was done in 2011. When I moved to Ohio in 2013, one was done there, and I was aroused 17 times an hour. I had one done last fall here in Tennessee, and I was aroused, I think it was 89 or 87 in 6 hours. And what that equates to is not getting any restorative sleep. I know a lot of us complain of being awakened at a specific hour of the night, but I get awakened all through the night. Sometimes I'm brought fully awake so that I have to get out of bed, but other times I'm not fully aware of being aroused, and that's to what they call the twilight sleep. And in the twilight sleep is when we're most suggestible. So those are times when the perps like to put in what's considered a post-hypnotic suggestion. They can literally tell you something to do in the morning when you get up, or they can tell you something to do 3 days from now in one of those states of being half awake, half asleep. And you won't remember it until the day and the time that you are instructed. So I had that information, and I've got some really good graphic information that shows what it looks like when signals are being sent to my brain and the changes in the brain waves when that occurs. But it still was not like actual proof or absolute proof that I was being, aroused, as I was saying. And nobody was really, it did not determine how much actual sleep I was getting that was restoring my body. The importance of restorative sleep is it allows your body to detox. It allows your brain to repair itself and to reassimilate data that you've taken in during the day. It allows your body to heal itself. This is during the deep sleep stage of rest. Also, when you are in a state of sleep deprivation, you tend to be more prone to high blood pressure, to diabetes, and to heart problems. Chronic heart condition or heart disease is also a result, can be a result of chronic sleep deprivation. I've been contending that for the last I have not been allowed to get the proper amount of sleep, and then it's considered torture. This information has been by military documents. They've actually done studies on the value of quality sleep. They've done studies on the damage that's done from sleep deprivation. The Physicians for Human Rights have made at least 4 reports regarding torture and how sleep deprivation as a form of torture does produce short-term and long-term damage to the victim. Other organizations have also provided information on the data of chronic sleep deprivation. So this week I was writing an email to the chief of police, as I've been doing regularly since I've been trying to get them to actually investigate a specific person that I know is doing this to me. But this week I actually found a couple of testimonies from soldiers who had used sleep deprivation as torture in some of their the torture camps that have been reported from Afghanistan, Iraq, Abu Ghraib, and they gave great detail in their knowledge of the damage that sleep deprivation does to the victim. One of the people that reported in on it was Alan Barker. Alan Barker was a PhD from the University of Virginia, and he talked about the fact that it's just playing with the victim's mind, and it's not just playing, but it's with the intention of doing great damage. So the Fitbit watch I received as a gift in May, and I started immediately collecting information. You just wear it on the arm. It runs by Bluetooth, which can be a little bit frightening. I had to convince myself that I could do this because of the forms of energy that can be used against us. But by wearing the watch, it will tell you the time you go to sleep. It will tell you how many times you are awakened during the night, how many times you are aroused or you move during the night. It also will tell you at what time of the night you enter the various stages of sleep. And all of this can be beautifully graphed out the next day when your data is collected. A problem that I'm having now that I did not have initially is the signals are being tampered with. It has made the perp uncomfortable enough that I am getting real valid evidence against him that he has begun to tamper with the data. And the way he does it is by blocking the signals. The Fitbit watch actually sends signals back to Apple, manufacturer of the watch, and they then store the data in the cloud. So you can go back and get a whole month's worth. You can download a file that will allow you to graph it and do other evaluative access to the information. So that's also a backup for you in terms of getting this data. The next thing that I use the Fitbit watch for is, as I said earlier, it will graph for you your heart rate throughout the day and the night. At different times, it will show you when your heart rate goes in the red, and you can determine based on the time of the day whether you were actually exercising, working out, or if it was in the middle of the night. And if you put the arrow on the mark of the heart rate, it will tell you exactly what time of the day or night that spike happened and what the actual rate was. So anything over 100 for any of us at any time except when we are exercising can be dangerous. It can actually cause a blood clot to be formed, or it could go into what's called AFib fibrillation, which is one of the tricks that the perps like to play on people. So that's important as well. So at 3 in the morning, my heart rate should never be 119 or 132, and yet sometimes it is. And that's because of something that's being done externally. And those are things that we could, and then the third thing, as I've already shared, is fat burning. It tells you how many hours a day you've been in fat burning mode. So if you've been working out with the intention of losing weight and yet you're not losing or you're gaining, then that's a perfect example of the perps using what's considered to be body modification on you. And they like to do that to some of us for their own ego. They like to do it to make us have difficulty in movement. They like to do it, for me, I've had bilateral knee replacement surgery, and keeping my weight down is important because it allows the knee replacement, the mechanics to last longer. And I just had a knee replacement revision done on my right leg, that my original knee replacement was deliberately messed up by the perp. And the way he did it was he was able to use a laser, and he carved the bone away from the prosthesis so that my bone would just flop in the prosthesis, and the danger was that the bone could break. So I was forced to have a second surgery. The doctors had to amputate the part of the bone that had been damaged and put essentially a prosthesis inside my leg. Immediately the perp added weight to my upper thigh, which was made it difficult for me to walk. I had physical therapy for the first 3 weeks. I had it 7 days a week, 2 times a day, 5 days a week, and then on weekends I came home, had it at home for another 11 weeks. I was in physical therapy. It took me a total of 14 weeks to become weight bearer 100%. So literally I had to hop on one leg for 8 weeks, and then I was incrementally allowed to put weight on. And the surgery itself cost $300,000. So you know it's very important for me to have this thing heal properly and to be able to use it for the rest of my life. I started trying to make this surgery fail. I got through the recovery okay, but now he's still using directed energy to strike me in this leg, as well as I'm still dealing with the weight issue on one leg. The other leg is more normal. So that also tells you that something is, really not right with any of that. And I'm talking about the leg in relation to fat burning and my efforts to lose weight and to have a healthy body. The Fitbit watch itself, Fitbit sell various brands. They are at various prices. I encourage you to go to Fitbit.com and review what's there. You can always, shop for bargains. They have them on sale all over the place, if that's something that you're interested in. But for those of you who have chronic sleep deprivation and you know that it's being used as torture, I would recommend this as a very inexpensive way to gather some irrefutable evidence of torture. Yes?
Yes. I was just about to ask if you could repeat what the Fitbit item was, but I also wanted to express that I'm sorry that this happened, and so forth. And but there's something that you can use to measure or document.
The Fitbit watch I have been using to document sleep deprivation. It's documented this week. One night I got 19 minutes of deep sleep. That's nothing. In fact, my cardiologist, nurse practitioner, told me last week when I went to her to share with her the results from my Fitbit watch, she said, "You're getting no restorative sleep." Well, that's slow kill. It's supposed to be a crime. And I've been reporting it to law enforcement as that.
Well, that's good. Thank you.
I'm using the Charger 2, the Fitbit Charger 2. Again, you can go to www.fitbit.com and look at the various kinds that they have. Look at what they do based on what your needs are. It also measures how many steps during the day you take, which helps in calorie burning. It tells you how many calories you burn during the day. So like I said, for those of us who the perps like to use body modification as a weapon against us, we can get some really good evidence that we should not be this size based on the amount of exercise and movement we have during any given day. Are there any other questions?
Would you like to
Yes,
open up?
Dr. Black.
Oh, go ahead.
Dr. Black. Thank you,
Yes.
Dr. Black.
Yes.
The Fitbit watch is a fantastic idea for recording the sleep deprivation and the fat burning. I in particular I get targeted every night. They don't let me eat dinner, and it's been going on for over a year. I'm actually lucky that I've gotten to a point where I've lost so much weight I really can't lose much more. So if I don't eat dinner, I don't lose that much weight. It's not that big a deal. I did want to mention the sleep twilight a zone that you get in. I often get into that. I don't believe that you can be programmed. It's more like a dream, and you don't have any control of what's being said. They can suggest stuff, and if for some reason they suggest something 3 or 4 days down the line, what I use is the individualism. I take advantage of the moment. Often I'm in the present. I take advantage of the moment, and if I do have suggested actions, I ask myself, is this something that is in the best interest of myself? And if it is, I take advantage of the suggestion, and I go for it. It seems to work in the sense a lot of times they try and speak for me in my head. A lot of times we go back and forth, and they want to know if it's something that was derived from them or it's actually something that I thought of. And I got so sick of playing that game. I use the concept of individualism to not care where the idea came from, but rather is it in the best interest of myself. And it seems to work very well. I want to make one other point. You had mentioned that you knew someone specifically was doing this to you. I in particular have been in fights with 3 different neighbors, and I've learned that every single time the disagreements that I had were constructed. I had suspicion and paranoia that was all created by them, and in fact it was all 3 were my fault. I've learned that there's no one immediately near me that's doing this. They are very far away, and they're constructing suspicion, and they try and attach that to the closest people that are with you, and that's usually neighbors, coworkers, friends, and that type of thing. I'm a firm believer that game stalking doesn't exist, and everything is created very far away in your brain because of their capabilities. The last thing I want to say is, because they have control of your brain, I don't think that they actually hit you with a laser. I think that they were manipulating your knee in that area that was injured with your brain. That's honestly what I think. Thank you for listening. I know this was very long. I appreciate you listening. Thank you.
Okay, let me just respond quickly to the issue of the knee. I have the x-rays, and it shows that the bone was carved away. I have the x-rays to show what it looked like at the beginning and how it was carved and carved and carved. My surgeon actually did send bone and tissue to pathology, and it came back that they both had foreign material in them. As far as the stalker or the organizer, I was involved personally with a guy who was on his way to the Air Force in 1981, who has become indeed an organizer of stalking in this state, and actually has been confirmed by other federal as the person who is doing this to me, or at least who sent me to have this done to me, and he is doing his part.
Yeah, I usually have a group of 8 people that harass me during the day, and they come in every 3 hours with their shifts. It used to be every 4 hours, and it was very predictable. 8 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and then 12 o'clock. The guy that was on the left that was dealing with my conscious thoughts would, after a 4-hour shift, would go over to the right, and he would harass my unconscious or subconscious thoughts. Subconscious thoughts. And then they go back and forth with games on and on forever.
I only have one person speaking to me. That person does have access to military communication technology. He has admitted putting chips in me. I've had those confirmed by Melinda Q. I've spent thousands of dollars collecting evidence, but I've also had some really good people helping me. At least
you can't sue this guy?
That's the point, is getting a lawyer. That's one of the things Sabotage us about, is getting, having legal representation. And that's what's made it difficult so far.
Well, I would go to a small claims court. What you're looking for is a victory in court. And if you can prove that this guy is the one that did it, and get it on tape that he's the one that did it, you don't need to hire a lawyer. You should be able to go to some sort of small claims court, sue him for a small amount of money. You just are looking for the victory. And then once the civil suit is taken care of, the authorities, I think, would take over.
Okay, well then I guess I was told backwards, because someone else told me to get him convicted first and then sue him. I did actually have a judge that gave me a temporary order of protection against him in 2012, and it was from microwave and electronic devices. However, I did not have a lawyer when we went to court, and he did. So his lawyer got the judge to dismiss it, and his lawyer's opening remark to the judge was, "Your Honor, she says she has a chip in her." Come on, Your Honor, a chip? This was 2012. This was January 2012. In April 2012, I got firm evidence from a cardiology nuclear cardiac scan that said there was a chip in my heart. And
I would take him back.
Well, this guy is the, like I said, he's the major manipulator. This is part of his military training, and so he's the major person keeping me awake at night. He's the major person that is. The suggestions are very strong, depending on the amount of sleep deprivation you've had. And he does other things to my physical body during the day. A body scan found 53 chips all over my body. The majority of them are located below my waist, and they're definitely targeting my mobility. So at any point in time, he can make it extremely difficult for me to get around. And if my legs will keep working, then he will attack my car. So I have multiple challenges to getting things done in any given day.
You have a X-ray of the 53 chips?
Melinda, investigator in Columbia, Missouri, did a body scan, and yes, a medical doctor then ordered an MRI, an MRI, but they did a CT scan, then identified others. I have also a brain MRI that does identify yet another set.
Why can't you take one of the chips out of your leg and use that as evidence?
I have to get someone to examine it. In fact, right now I'm trying to get the local police department to get the Tennessee lab involved in examining the old prosthesis that was taken from my knee, because it did indeed show bone, show metal, or it showed what they call foreign material in my bone and in my tissue. Now that's from a pathology report. So I've been trying to get the Tennessee State Crime Lab to be asked to get involved in an investigation, and I've been doing that since March, and have not had
That's your
success yet.
that's your evidence.
Yes,
I would try and get the chips, but in the meantime, try and be as comfortable as possible, because they're gonna harass you forever. And for me, it's been 18 years. So my goal is to just try and be as comfortable as possible.
it's been 22 years for me. In fact, 22 years ago, what my cousin said to me, Millicent, they told us that we could blame anything on you. That was 22 years ago. I have proof that he's been talking to me in my sleep for since 1990. Since 1990.
That's awful.
It is. For those of you who do know that people are talking to you in your sleep, I got information from a therapist in 2009. She said whatever is on your mind when you wake up is usually programming, so don't do it. And do as Scott said, think it through. Is this something I would do for myself? Is it, is it going to harm me? Sometimes though, I've been awakened and mechanically did something like drew money out of the bank.
I noticed what I did is I had girls. My first shift, I had a bunch of girls, and they told me to go shopping and get up. So I ended up spending a ton of money on a new wardrobe with clothes that were too small, that much, and that was my big spending of money during my harassment before I figured out to control it.
Yeah, there was a massage therapist about using oils to help change frequencies and for healing and medicinal purposes. She told me she spent $8,000 and had no idea.
Yeah.
But that's those suggestions that we get at night about doing things, and so you have to be very careful about acting on what you think sounds like, because it may not have been your idea at all. Are there any other questions?
I'm sure that there are. Scott, do you have any more questions?
No, I might chime in a bit. I'm just gonna listen. It's been very interesting. Thanks for inviting me.
Certainly. Okay, callers, if you have any questions, hit *6. Everyone with a computer knows the drill. But this is Q&A time, so if you have some questions, this is the time to get them out. Okay, well, I'll break the ice a little bit. Dr. Black, so you have been targeted for roughly 20 years? That's the first time?
You know, things were happening to me that I did not equate to being targeted before 1996, but 1996 is when a relative told me that they had been told that they could blame anything on me. I was already under this guy's control, and so I didn't have enough consciousness to ask her, what do you mean, or who are they, when did they tell you this? I didn't ask any question. The next year, her sister said to me, the devil is playing with your mind, and when he gets through playing with you, he's going to destroy you. And when they open you up after you're dead, they'll find that all of your organs have been stressed. Obviously, I've since learned that microwave energy stresses the organs in the body.
Okay. I can relate to just about everything that you've said. At this point in time, I am heavily targeted with R&M, and there is nothing that I have found that will really do anything for it. So what the perps try to do is, as Millicent said, is to get you to spend a lot of money. Now, there's one out there that I was going to ask you, Dr. Black, if you tried that Russian medallion that was $1,980. Did you try that one?
No, not that.
Good, yeah. We found that if something works, you'll hear it so fast, it'll be around the community in about 3 hours, if it really works. And that was really sad because that got everybody's hopes up to the point where we thought that was it. But unfortunately, it was not.
That
What?
happens a lot, and it is very sad. I've tried, amazed at how much stuff I have in this house, and nothing has given me relief. Initially, a leather coat would gave me relief. I've had people give me magnets. I mean, a block magnet. I've got um, it's a mattress top, about the size of a small pillow, that have magnets sewed into it. That used to work. It doesn't work. I have the Reflectex. I have the yoga mat that's got aluminum on one side and foam on the other. I've bought some special coasters. I do have a couple of different kinds of medallions. One of them is orgone. I have a copper object that I use. Nothing gives me any real long relief. Ice packs do help some, but they don't last long, especially when you're being, having frequency attacks, because it melts the ice, or melts the gel really quickly, so you don't get long-term relief. I used to sleep with the tinfoil hat on my head at night. Some relief. But the purpose told me is that we only get relief if they want you to have it.
There is an answer, though, and I think we're very close to it in that area, and I think we're very close in a total media breakthrough because of Cuba and China. I
Yeah.
just picked up on a C-SPAN article. I have to get the footage, but I was just made aware of it. This is really breaking things loose to the point where you can go to somebody in law enforcement and just sit down and say, "Hey, did you read about this?" And we're doing other things, so to do with the media, particularly
As far
Go ahead, sir.
Oh, excuse me. As far as the blocking of this, I've also spent a lot of money with magnets and tried to build a Faraday and all that. What I've learned is even if you build the Faraday cage, they can hit you with the radio waves. So you've got to block both the microwave and the radio waves. So you need, I believe, a Faraday cage and then something around the Faraday blocks the radio waves. That's the direction that I'm headed. I just, I'm low on funds and energy and time to go ahead and do it. But I believe that's the right direction as far as building something to get some sort of relief, because it's constant. So, excuse me. Thank you for listening.
Oh, no problem at all. I just wanted to interject that microwaves can be as large as a foot across and as small as, well, more than a millimeter, because then we get into millimeter waves. They're very small. They don't travel very far. They are, in essence, what the new 5G is using, millimeter waves. So, Dr. Black, would you like to take the floor again?
Well, the other thing I'd like to do is invite uh, and on the conference call church. I have since 2016, we've been having a conference call church that's designed specifically for the targeted community. Just wanting to offer those of you who have been to church affiliation an opportunity to have a spiritual community again. One of the isolation tactics of the perpetrators is, if you have been involved in church membership, has been to push you out of there so that you don't have that support any longer. So we have a full list of regularly scheduled church services. Our church service, regular church service, is on Saturday at 6 Eastern Time. We meet on Talk Shoe Call. The Wednesday evening we have Bible study at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Monday through Friday at 6:30 Eastern Time. In the morning we have prayer. And one Tuesday night a month, the last Tuesday night of the month, we have emotional wellness support group where you can come, and we're actually talking about the kinds of emotional trauma that we go through as targeted individuals and how we can deal with them in a more effective and productive manner.
Yeah, it would sound to me like you have definitely had tons of experience. And okay, I hear somebody, caller 24, did you want to speak up?
Yeah, how do I get that information about church services?
I can't hear you. We can't hear you.
I'll text you. I'll
Okay.
text you.
All right. Caller 35, do you have a question? I guess not.
I have a question.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hi. Yeah, I just wondered if wow. I don't know. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of things and it's kind of scary, but it's not, impossible. This whole microwave MI15 thing, I think it's real. I know it's real. And it's just a matter of, and give more money to the doctors and the researchers. Are we going to do that? Or are we, going to just, I don't know. I mean, sometimes I feel like if I don't move, I'm going to die. And I don't want to die. Who wants to die? Nobody wants to die. But, I mean, by move, I mean, like, get up and go out and do things and all that kind of thing. And I think that in our society is an everyday thing that we all, like, are required to do or else. And I think that is, to some people, why do some people, people get to do that and others don't? I don't know. But it's a mystery to me. And I don't know if it's a part of this whole targeted magnetic, I'm going to send you cancer thing, or
Angela?
you know what I mean? Yes?
It's basically coming right down at your head. And it is satellite driven. They are manipulating certain areas of your brain, your pleasure center, your motor functions. Of course, your pleasure center and your anxiety or hate center are actually on the same stick, if you will. They just know areas of your brain to attack. Like the esophagus and the stomach is an area that they attack, and this is how they produce their false heart attack. But this false heart attack should be identified, because if you don't, what they will do is scare you into a real heart attack. So what you have to do is calm yourself. And when it goes away, your breath will be normal and you'll spring right back. It's not like a debilitating heart attack that's going to take you out. It's just a slam in the chest, from my experience, and it's actually your esophagus, because your esophagus is behind your heart. And the reason I know this, and the only reason that I'm divulging it to the public in the community, is because this is in fact what cardiologists have told me when I went to the hospital 3 times. They said it was an esophageal attack, Mr. Allen. You have no sign in your blood that you've had a heart attack or close to it. So that's what I will put out there about my feelings. They're attacking. You feel a burning sensation in your toe. Well, that burning sensation originates anyway from your brain. So try and associate these pains that you're getting and realize that your brain is where they're coming from. And this is closely associated with hypnotism. So hypnotism is thousands of years old, and it is very effective, and it was combined with MK Ultra. Okay, that's all I'm
Really?
gonna say. Yes.
What I usually do with the heart attack symptoms, I threaten to go to the ER and document it. Because if you go to the ER with any sort of chest pain, you get priority. As long as you have insurance and it's not going to cost you a lot of money, threaten to go to the ER. It seems to reduce the number of times that they mess with my chest. Caller 35, you said you're concerned about cancer. It's been 18 years for me, and I've been to the doctor and gotten checked out. You're not going to get cancer. The only way you'll get cancer is naturally. It's not going to hurt you. And what they're doing when they talk to you is looking for brain maps that they can use later to manipulate.
Exactly.
The less you talk to them, the better off you're gonna be, because the less maps they're gonna have. But in the end, with the concept of individualism, you have the confidence to beat them and play their games and actually win. I've gotten to a point where their games don't work with me anymore, and they just debilitate me. It sucks. So I personally am more comfortable working for myself in my apartment, but getting out of the house for 8 hours and working a job is very healthy, because they seem to not harass you while you're working. But as soon as you get home, you're going to get harassed. It's awful and miserable. And when they decide to destroy your job, they're going to make you sick, and attendance is going to go down, and you're going to look bad. One of the things that I use to tell people about the harassment, as far as an excuse is concerned, because you always have a headache, I tell them that I was in a car accident and I have permanent neck damage, and I'm disabled. That saves me the hassle of trying to explain that I'm being harassed constantly by 2 people.
Hey there.
Wow. Okay.
I have a question. Hi. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I have a question. Like, I want to elaborate like on what I experienced based off the guy as far as going back to work. My experience, I guess it depends on the kind of work you do. I was working, like, you can say like receiving. I was working for Walgreens, helping them with their receiving in before the store opened. And what they tend to do to me, especially if you have freight that you're using that you're going to be bringing into the store, they would try to use your movement, like they would try to bend your feet or try to trip you while you're walking when you're carrying freight, at least in my case. Like,
I noticed that today. I was kind of walking on the outside of my feet.
Yeah.
Like a duck.
They try to turn it sideways in a sense, but like those are just like some of the tactics that they do, especially if you're on your feet 24/7 working.
Yeah. You have bad shoes.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, but I don't want that to discourage people. Like, if you got to go out there to work and try to put some money into your pocket, at least temporarily, I would go for it. But like, they can screw with you on the job regardless. I mean, like, there's ways to kind of like get around it. But don't let my career, in a sense, like, there was harassment, at least on my case, on the job.
Dr. Black?
Another thing I want to mention, this is the last thing you guys were talking about, heart problems. I went in for a catheterization because my left feet, for some reason, it kept getting tired on me. And I would have so they went in and done a catheterization and checked the flow of my blood through my veins around my heart. And they gave me, like, just in case I started feeling those pains again, you know, this thing you put under your tongue. You know what I'm talking about, Frank?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's supposed to help relieve like some of my blood vessels to try to make the blood start circulating back through them.
Huh.
Okay.
You mean like that hot chili pepper stuff?
Huh?
Or that pill that you mean the pill that you put under your tongue to lower your it's automatic. Like, you put it under your tongue and it just wakes you up. I forget what it's called. But then you can also, I read in the natural book, you can put this hot pepper chili sauce under your tongue, and that's pretty good too.
Interesting.
What are you talking about?
Nitro, I think, sounds like.
Yeah, nitro.
Yeah.
That's it. Nitro, I think it was like 4 milligrams.
I have a
0.4 milligrams of nitro. But
what would happen if you used like a beta blocker?
That is exactly what Angela has been doing, I believe, to an extent.
I'm just thinking, if they're trying to manipulate your mind and you're getting physical reactions to this, people take beta blockers for anxiety.
That's absolutely
yeah, they are trying
right.
to manipulate my mind, and that's what they do. I'm sure they do that to you guys too. But when they don't do the brain mapping thing, I mean, that is exactly what it is. And my gosh, I mean, it's it's very painful.
Yes, it can be.
I would like to respond to Angela's question early on. It's recommended that those of us who are targeted should spend at least 5 hours a day away from the normal living environment, because we are being bombarded with radio frequencies all through the day. It can break the system down. You can get cancer from it. There is a 1998 document published by the Air Force Research. The title of that document is Advanced Total Body Model. And it literally shows a human body circled off in every joint, and every joint has a number. head to toe. And my understanding is all they have to do is put that number into the computer. It sends that information to a satellite, and they can shoot you anywhere in your body based on that particular body model. It's called Advanced Total Body Model, and it's by the Air Force Research Laboratory, I think in like February or May in 1998.
Can you repeat that for me, Dr. Black?
Frank, I'll just send you the
Okay.
actual document. I'll
All
send
right.
you the PDF.
Thank you very much.
It also gives information of how they can cause you to have a car wreck too. And they've researched every bit of this down to science.
Are there preventives that you can mount or line your apartment with? And can some of you, if some of you all are using them, can you please tell me some of the pitfalls to avoid and some of the things you recommend doing? Thank you.
Don't spend any money on anything until somebody proves that something works. Nothing out there works currently.
It doesn't.
Nothing.
I've tried the magnets, and the thing about it is it's hard to spend 5 days away, 5 hours away, from your place when you never rest. If your organs, and I don't mean to, if your organs are expanding and you're basically feeling like, it's really difficult to do that and work and get up and you feel like you're going to go boop, like any day, I'm just going to boop. And I want to save up my energy for just in case I got to split.
Look into careers. Look into careers you can do at home. Like consider being an author. Various things that you can, Google work from home, but don't get roped into a scam. And legitimate jobs. You have experience with this electronic harassment of it. Write the stuff down that's happening to you, and then publish it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I try. I write down. I hear
everybody,
I have to get out.
Yeah, you said you had to get out.
I have to. Well, sometimes, yeah.
At least go for a walk every day.
I know what it's causing. Or when I go somewhere else, like you said, working and stuff, sometimes it goes away. It's when no matter where I live, boom. And so you never rest, and you're on the computer. I mean, I try to listen. I love Dr. I love. I mean, I am a fan, and she's good. I'm telling you what. And I would love to just sit here and write things down and listen more into that and get into it. But I write stuff down, and I think, okay, I'm gonna write this book, someday when I don't have this shit coming into my head, my language, and then I know.
Can I add something very quickly? Some people are targeted very heavily at work. Some people are targeted very heavily at home. So the idea is to get away from your home during the day as best you can. You have to sleep there, but do as much as you can away from your home, because they choose where they want to target you. And I know that people have been targeted very badly at work, but at home they have the parameters figured out exactly where you are. And that's why I heard someone say the other day they're into patterns. So she says she moves her furniture around, that sort of thing. But you're home, you're a sitting duck in your home. I'm glad it works for the man talking, but it doesn't work for everyone.
The more you can move, the better.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
can move at home as long as you're productive at home. As long as you're being productive, often what they want is you sitting down with a headache with your hand over your head because it feels like your brain is swelling. So they can that's the state that they usually want me in. So they can try and manipulate me and look for those brain maps. As long as I'm up and moving and productive and doing stuff, that I'm maximizing what's good for me.
Well, Scott, your information is right on the money. And
thank you.
Thank you for your comments. And I can't say it enough. His comments, I believe, are right on the money. They parallel my own. And I've been heavily targeted for just about 7 years now. And I am really tired of
how
it.
you guys do it. Yeah.
Oh, Millicent, would you like to comment? Or should I just stay out of this and let it flow naturally?
I have heard of some people who have used the galvanized steel sheets on their walls in their apartments, who say they get some relief. I have not felt free to do that here for myself. Dr. Catherine Horton actually purchased a metal storage building and erected it in her flat, and she sleeps in it. Now, it didn't take them long to be able to shoot through it, so what she's done is fortified it with Reflectex and other stuff on the inside, and says that she gets, some relief. So instead of a Faraday cage, she said pay $300 for one of those galvanized steel buildings, and she just erected it inside of her flat.
She sleeps in her bathtub underneath the big aluminum things that you're saying. Yes, I don't know how. Yeah, I mean, she's heavily targeted and knows what to say afterwards. I think she's awesome.
Hi, can I interject for a second?
appreciate you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Everyone on this call. I don't know if I would have lived through this. I wouldn't have.
You'll be fine.
I wouldn't have.
Angela, we won't let anything happen to you.
Really, thank you.
Okay, the woman that was trying to speak a second ago, do you have questions for Dr. Black?
Hi, yeah. I just wanted to say I am heavily targeted. They get in my mind and do all sorts of things. I hear voices 24/7. They microwave my body and shoot my ears. They've blown up my ears and they shoot my ears with all sorts of different kinds of currents. And I just want to say for anybody who is looking for relief, I've tried a magnet, and it doesn't kill the V2K. It doesn't take it away, but it stops the radiation. When I hold, like when they're shooting my ears, I put a really strong, I forget what they're called, it's like a Neo something, it's a rare earth magnet, it's the strongest magnet you can buy, for like $50 on eBay. And I put that up to my ears and it stops them from shooting it. But what I've learned is that they can like reverse the direction of the polarity of the magnet. So you have to change the direction of the magnet like constantly. But it does block the radiation, and it takes the heat away when I feel the burning on the top of my head. Like I put the magnet on and I wave it over my head, and it knocks some of the signals out. And it always messes with them. They get back on, but it does mess with them. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Now, there are people who use magnets. Myself, I have had no success. I bought a 400-pound magnet, and you could pick up a car with it just about. And I put it behind my pillow, and I put it under my butt. I put it under my ankles. I put it everywhere. You know, I finally just left it underneath my pillow, and it actually did nothing for me. But I'm not going to say that my conditions in my dwelling were exactly the same as yours. But I will say, in agreement with Dr. Black, that I have had no success with magnets. So I wouldn't, again, recommend spending hundreds of dollars on countermeasures unless you start hearing a lot of good things about them. There's a gentleman who's selling a football helmet, I think, with magnets in it, and I haven't heard anything more about that. If that is something that would be an effective countermeasure, I would be flooded with emails. So you got to watch what you buy, and I'm reflecting what Dr. Black has said, and that's what they like to do. The perps like to make you spend the money. Every last penny.
Frank, I have a question regarding like something to shield them. You know, like when you're going to the dentist and you're getting X-rays or whatnot of your teeth.
That's lead.
They put this huge thing over you.
That's lead.
Would that be a good shielding mechanism, especially if you're laying down?
Well, actually,
on your stomach or your back. Would that be something good to use?
We're not working with that kind of lead. We're trying to find the right epoxy to encapsulate lead when it's already formed, because that actually will contain a nuclear isotope. So if it will contain a nuclear isotope, it still does not mean that it will stop this, but we're trying. Dr. Black?
I have heard of people who have bought those vests.
Yeah.
And you know, we all want to believe that something is working for us. I personally believe that the best defense is doing it internally, and that's by taking supplements that absorb the radiation, that helps to support our connective tissue and muscle structure, bony structure. So I take curcumin, which also helps to reduce the susceptibility to cancer, as well as helps with inflammation. MSM, which is a form of sulfur, is very good for connective tissue and joints. Cinnamon capsules are good for those of you who may be losing too much sleep and is experiencing borderline diabetes. Cinnamon is very good. It's also a very strong antibacterial compound, though it's just, you know, like turmeric, just a spice in the kitchen. I use essential oils that are really good for medicinal purposes. They also help to introduce oxygen into the cells. Those are the kinds of things that I'm doing now. I'm just taking lots of spirulina. It's a good seaweed that's good for helping with radiation absorption. Chlorella is good for helping to rid the bottle, as well as cilantro. Kelp is good in helping to absorb, the body to absorb the radiation. So if nothing is working externally, then it's definitely a good idea to take measures to see that internally you're doing things to help your body tissue, your organs, to survive these assaults.
I agree 100% with that. And what I'll add, and I'm sure Dr. Black will too, and that's a positive attitude. Try and maintain your positive attitude. They hate it, and The powers that be love it. And the positive attitude is what will make the difference. If you say in the morning that this is going to be a bad day, it will be. But if you say this is going to be a great day, guess what? It'll be a great day. Believe me, it works.
What if you wake up with it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to just interrupt like that. What if you wake up with that? How do you, if you wake up and you're and all night you feel like you were dreaming but you weren't, and you wake up and then automatically you hear that loud ringing in your ears and your head and stuff. So the positive attitude is
you still have
something that is, yeah.
You have to hold on to it. Just be positive. And if I had a headache like that, the first place I would go would be the shower. I'd probably stand there 40 minutes.
Okay. Playing music that makes you feel good is also very good. I have a book. I had a small book. It was 50 ways to detox. Music that makes you want to move, like pat your feet or sway to the music. According to the book, it's actually helping you hold all of your cells to detox, and not just detox, but it also helps with your mood. There's some essential oils that help with your mood. Believe it or not, the citrus oils like orange, tangerine, grapefruit. Grapefruit juice is a good antidepressant, believe it or not.
May I suggest music? Do you have any music that lifts you?
Hi, Linda.
That's what I just suggested.
Hi, Frank. I'm just suggesting music because it really, I don't know about you, but boy, when I hear a song that brings back memories that are good, it immediately lifts me. You know?
She's right.
It always lifts me.
Yeah.
All night long. My CD player quit working in my Jeep.
Yeah, mine too.
And it's kind of a bummer. And then, but I get my iPod work. My iPod or something working. I just need the plug. Yeah. Music is great.
Yeah, if you've left your CD player in your car and you didn't use it for a long time, I'll tell you what I did. I stopped using my CD player for about a couple of years for some reason. And I just started putting the CD in, it rejected it. I must have done it like 50 times, but on the 51st time, it started working again, and it still does. So,
you can also rub a little olive oil or something in your ear, help and put a cotton ball in there, or rub it on a cotton ball and stick it in there. It'll help it.
It'll help with what?
You're talking about the tinnitus, that loud tinnitus. And then I do play binaural beats. That helps it too. The binaural beats, and I know it helps it because they keep trying to stop it every time I put it on.
Yeah.
Has anybody had their sound on their computer altered in any way? I'm wondering if that's a common fact pattern by perps.
I know I have, yeah.
Yeah.
I have, yes.
They can alter your perception as well. They can take the sound from the computer and bounce it around. They can actually make it seem like it's coming from another room. So yeah, they can change the perception. They can't really hurt the actual circuitry. There's no way they can.
I disagree. I suspect that that's happened on at least 2 occasions.
Okay, what you want to do is download new drivers or updated drivers for your audio system and see if that helps.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Another thing she could probably do, like if you're having problems with the internal speakers, like there's external speakers that you could purchase as well. Like if you have a Fry's Electronics or a Best Buy, you can see if they have like external speakers that you can buy and just plug it up behind the PC outlet. Like because some of those have Dolby Digital sound where it will project. Like you can use that as an alternative. Like if the internal speaker is acting up, just buy some external.
And plug them into the laptop?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Frank, I'm going to have to run. Thank you for I pray that all of you, that we all come through this to see an end to it and that we are able to recover our lives.
Yeah. Me too.
Dr. Black,
Thank
before
you.
you go, can you give me your number to your calls?
Sure. You know that TalkShoe has a new number. It's a 605 number now.
Okay, so you TalkShoe, right?
Right, we're on TalkShoe.
Okay, so give me your access code. I know TalkShoe number.
The access code is 140567.
That's it?
The PIN number is £1.
Okay, now what days is it again? Saturdays?
Saturday at 6 p.m. Wednesday at 8 p.m. And for early risers, if you'd like to join us for prayer, Monday through Friday at 6:30.
Oh, wait a minute, 1 second. Wednesday at 8 p.m.?
Correct.
Okay, and then early risers is
Monday through Friday at 6:30 a.m.
okay.
If any of you would like to have a newsletter or to be added to our mailing list for our newsletters, feel free to write me at mgrace321@gmail, and we'll get you on the mailing list.
Oh, I did email you a while ago, and I called, when I called you, I was on your line. I asked you, did you ever get my email? Because, you know, they play with my email.
I don't recall Paula ever getting that. If you'll send me one now, I'll make sure that you get on the list. M. Grace, M is in Mary, G is in George.
Wait a minute, wait. You go so fast. Okay, I'm still on Monday through Friday was 6 a.m., wasn't it?
6:30.
6:30?
Correct.
Okay. No, I'm putting this in my phone, that's why. Okay, and then, oh shoot, 6:30. Okay, now you said M. Grace.
321 at Gmail.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. And I hope we can spend some time again, and we'll definitely spend some time on your calls. And thank you so much, and God bless.
Thank you, Nate. You check your email. I've sent that document to you already.
Okay. Thank you. Good night.
Okay, bye now. Good night.
Good night.
If Frank.
Yes.
You know Renata Murray, the other TI that comes on that Sunday at 5 o'clock in the.
No, I didn't realize that.
Her show ID because it had changed. She told me that TalkShoe have changed her number. She's been trying to talk to them about giving her old number back, but they haven't responded.
No, I don't think that'll be possible. Who is that now?
This is Renata that comes on Sundays.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I want her information.
What's
her number? She's with TalkShoe, the 1-605-562-0444. I guess that's the number that they use for everyone to dial in. but her show ID is 225-1509.
Wait a minute. 225. Say it again.
225-1509.
Too many numbers.
Yeah, that's TalkShoe.
Well,
no, the 225-1509.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the access.
Well.
Yeah, the ID number.
Okay, how come Dr. Black's is 6 digits and yours is 7?
It's
well,
six.
This TalkShoe for some reason. She said that this is not her original number. She said she had lost all of her files throughout the years when TalkShoe had changed up the format accidentally. So she's been trying to give them to give her old number back and see if they can recover all of her old files that she can go back and listen to. But they haven't been able to do that. So this is the number that they gave her to call in to use on Sundays.
Okay, can you give me the time?
Her time, I know it's on like 5 o'clock. So that would be like 6 o'clock Eastern time. So that's in the afternoon. I believe that's on.
You said Sundays at 6?
Yeah.
Okay, you going in and out. That's all.
Yeah, Sundays at 6 o'clock your time.
I just wanted to let
right?
I wanted to let you folks know that now that Dr. Black is gone, it's open mic. So those of you who want to talk, just hit *6. You'll be unmuted automatically yourself. No one is ever muted in here permanently, ever. And Linda's here, and Linda, I'm gonna grab a coffee, and Lorraine from Mass is here, and Paula's here, and we've got Angela here. We've got all kinds of great people, and we have. Let me see. Oh, where'd she go? Where did she go? Okay, Laura was here. I don't see her.
Who?
Laura. I don't see her for some reason. Yeah. All right, I'll be back in about 5 minutes, and just have fun.
Okay. Linda.
Yes.
Linda, that's the right number, right? The 225-1509 for Renata.
I really don't go to Renata's call, although I should, because I like it. I just don't remember that I would not be the one to ask about that. I think maybe Lorraine might know, or I'm not sure. I can't remember who else he said was here, but I wish I could.
I don't know it. I think if you go onto Derek's website, Derek Robinson's, he has a whole list of that.
I don't think Derek has her number on there, though. Not
really?
Renata.
I have it, Melvin.
Huh?
It's 225-1509. That's
okay,
Renata.
so that is the correct number. Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, and 5:30. I got confused because it changed from 3:30 to 5:30 a couple of months ago, and I lost track of it.
I'm sorry. Can you tell me what's the time for Eastern time?
Renata?
Yes.
She's 5:30 Eastern on Sunday. Hi, Paul.
5:30 East. Hi, Ann. How are you?
Hi, sweetheart. It's okay. Gosh, it got cold today. It's 66 degrees in Boston. It's crazy.
Oh, wow.
Oh, well, you know what? I take that better than yesterday. Yesterday, I almost died.
I was so hot yesterday. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it was 200. It was 200 degrees.
Oh, man.
Crazy.
That would be. Wow. It's 7:30 here right now, and it's still 91 degrees. It has been so hot. Outrageous. Anyway,
I guess it really does affect you if you're out in it. Like the humidity is really the kicker.
Yeah.
If you have humidity mixed in, it's dangerous. Really, it's like crazy.
Is that Ann?
Yeah. Hi. How you doing?
Hi, Ann. I'm okay. I'm better, I guess. How are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
I had a good day.
I keep asking Mike for your phone number, and then he forgets to send it. I'm trying. Okay.
Okay. Well,
I'll get hold of you
that's
soon.
great. Okay, great.
Okay.
I need your advice on something. Well, I won't take too much of your time.
Oh, no, that's okay. Take all the time you want.
Okay, good.
Linda, isn't that crazy about your number?
I'm sorry, what?
Isn't that crazy about your number, the number I had?
Oh.
The number I had for you?
Yeah, no, that's not good anymore. And every time when I tried to set up somebody's messing with me. When I tried to set up my TalkShoe number, every time I would go in to bring up the call, it would have a different call number. Every time. In fact, Ryan was trying to help me, and he saw the same thing. It's like, what's that number? You know, every time they would just keep coming up, so there's no way I can list it.
No, you said I had a Washington, D.C. number?
Oh, yeah, right. No, I don't know who that was. I don't know who 202 is, but I'm 209. Did you get my number?
And I said, I thought I was talking to you, but I must have been talking to the perps, because I said, hi, Linda, how you doing? I said, it's all right if I get your number so I can call you. And you said, this is not a good time, but here it is. And you gave wasn't you, but they gave me the 202.
That's not it. I do not live in Washington.
They play with my inbox on Facebook so bad. I mean, they send me friend requests. They comment on my stuff. They do everything.
They sure do. Ella tried to call me the other day, and it told her that my phone had been disconnected. My phone is not disconnected. I don't know if that was my end or her end or whatever, but they will mess with us no matter what.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So clever. Aren't they? Aren't they just fun? Jeez.
Oh, my God. The things that they do.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Well, like Frank was positive, that's the only way I know how to operate is just to stay positive. Because if I get too down, I'm not going to do anything if I'm too down, And they work they sure work at getting us down, but we don't have to stay there, And
no, we sure don't.
Somebody was saying about the fact that if you turn your music up very loud and you dance around your house, they are not going to be able to keep it all that down. Who cares?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My neighbor already runs around gossiping about me. People come to me and tell me about it. I don't get that at all, but it is what it is. It's crazy.
The gossip is astounding. The smearing, the slander, the lies, the sabotage. I've really had it up to here. Is anyone going to approach me and ask me my hello? Anybody due process? Anybody out there, please. Due process anybody.
Anybody what? I'm sorry.
And let me give you my phone number here.
No. That's okay, Linda.
Okay.
I can wait.
Okay.
I don't want to be in jeopardy. Due process. Due process is when we can actually, be accused of something and brought to court and proven our innocence or guilt.
Yeah.
But yes,
Linda,
slander, smear, sabotage, and gossip, and vigilante neighborhood watch groups. I mean, what are you gonna say to that?
Exactly. You do your best to absolutely ignore it. You do your best not to react to them. That's not easy. But
you were there today and you told me that. I really need someone by my side. I really need someone by my side 24/7 telling me that.
Yeah.
I really do.
We can talk as often as you want, and we will remind each other that we absolutely can't react because you react and they feed off of our energy when we react.
Oh, gross.
So it's like blood to them. It's like oxygen to them.
It's really sick.
Yeah, it is
they
weird.
They all seem to have the same really sick smirk on their mouth.
Yes.
It's like it's great. It's like what do they call that when they all have the same mannerism?
It's got that kind of like I know something you don't know, and ha ha ha, and screw you, you nothing. As if there's something. Anybody
I don't think
Yeah,
I don't think they're conscious of it. I don't think they're conscious of this smirk that they all have.
Well, I think they should.
Inside of their brains, showing me their small thought, immaturity, lack of humanity process.
Do any of you have experience in exchanging, in speaking with them and sort of turning the absurdity on its head? And is there anything to be gained from that?
I just look at them like they're kind of ridiculous, you know. If I do respond to them, it's just like, oh, really? You know, really? This is supposed to be some, I don't know. But have we? Not really. I haven't. Have you, Ann? Have you, Paula? Been able to confront any of this?
Yeah, well, I'm told if I approach and talk to them, or if they get to approach and talk to me, they get paid more money.
They get more money?
Yeah.
If they talk to you?
Yes, if they get me to talk to them, and if they get me to interact with them, they get more money. And if they're behind me in the checkout line, ching ching. Oh yeah, if you're that lucky one. Not so lucky when I have my camera videotaping you. I'm going to smear your face all.
Yes, I was just going to say, keep a camera with you. Take their pictures no matter what. They don't like to be identified.
What are you all doing with the pictures, with the images?
Just hanging on. Just keeping them until they're going to be useful, and they'll be useful. Just keep them.
I'm bringing them to the driving range.
Hey. To the golf? Golfing?
No, Ann. And you're not bringing them to the driving range. You're bringing them to the gun range. The gun range.
I was trying to not say it that way. I didn't want to scare anybody.
Any suggestions for breaking the ice and getting information from any of them? Any suggestions on that? Or any victories?
One time when some guys were trying to act very casual after they'd moved my car like 3 feet, and when I came out of the store and I saw my car had been moved, I just got my camera out. I just took pictures of them and thanked them very much. They were very photogenic and kept walking. When I came back out of the other store, they were gone. So I don't know if that answers it. That probably doesn't answer, but it's one way to kind of put them on edge, I think. You can confront them slightly.
And are you all using smartphones or other gear? If you're using other gear, do you have any suggestions for other gear to record them?
Corinne, a gal that doesn't come on the calls too much, talk to her a lot on Facebook. She has glasses that have a little camera on them and a voice recorder.
Yeah.
She can record anybody, anytime, take pictures of them if they're messing with her. She just touches the little side and she's got pictures. It's a video. So, is that what you meant?
Or even just good cameras, trusted cameras that you suggest.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to...
Go ahead, Ann.
No, go ahead, Linda, finish.
I was just going to say Casio cameras are good. They also have Casios that have night vision, and you can sometimes pick up infrared and, a variety of things with night vision.
Thank you.
And you also might want to get a black light. My brain will not stay in a straight line, so I'm sorry if I'm just babbling at you. But a black light will show you chemicals around your house. If you use it at night in the dark, you can see chemicals and avoid them or wash them off, whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
They do. Yeah, they put chemicals on my light switches because I'm going to, they know you're going to touch the light switches.
What sort of chemicals are they? I mean, do you have any idea?
Good question. I don't know. All I know is that mine glow a yellow color, yellowish green. And you
I
guys
think
remember?
mine.
Go ahead, hon.
Yeah, remember? Go ahead. No, remember? Go.
I was going to say Elvira. We all remember Elvira, and she died. And she had these she would have like this bright orange and black lights. She would have, I'm sorry, not dark orange, dark yellowish color on her clothes, on her, you know. Just,
and when you say a black light, like what? I'm not even sure what that is. I know I can probably look it up, but any quick tips?
you can buy them on Amazon, and or you can buy them in the animal department because they also illuminate urine on the floor. So it's used for that, but it's also you can find chemicals with that.
Hi, excuse me just for 1 second. I just wanted to see, I see somebody. Is that you, Kate? If that's Kate, would love to hear from you.
I think it's me, Frank. It's Ann. They gave me a 413 Western Mass number when I signed up like 2 years ago. I don't know why.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. I'm the 413 404.
Okay.
Today is Kate's puppy's first birthday. I decided to let you know.
Aww.
Isn't that cute? And her name is Tinkerbell. I think it's just so cute little dog. Yeah.
There are. I think there's two more Western Mass TIs, Frank, out there. There's Deb and there's Evelyn. They might be on.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Welcome. You're welcome to speak up.
Can anybody hear me? Maybe not.
I can.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, great. So I have a quick question about, I think it was Linda talking about her car being moved in the parking lot. I had parked my car here in the parking lot, and I'm like a fanatic of, I park straight. And I got up one morning and I noticed that my car was perpendicular, totally the opposite of what I had parked it. That happened twice. And I didn't know if they had somehow a key to my car, or I didn't know how they did it. So do you know how they moved your car?
Somebody has a key to
parking
my
lot?
car. Somebody has had a key to my car for years.
Is Tinkerbell a female? I would think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I just know. They can get into your car if you have an automatic. The little button you press and it unlocks your car.
Mm-hmm.
They can pick up that frequency and they can replicate it and get into your car. So better just use the key. Yeah.
I spent $700
bypassing the alarm and everything.
Yeah.
Have any of you
gas alarm and they bypass it like nobody's business?
Yeah.
They'll do whatever they want to do. Put it that way. So I wouldn't even waste my time really putting too much thought into how they do it.
But
they're gonna do it if they want to do it, right?
Yeah, it's not the car alarm. I actually had pretty costly alarm on the car.
I just wanted to interrupt you for a second. Don't confuse perps with actual vandals. That has happened to a couple of individuals, and they have actually caught known criminals that really don't have anything to do with the community, that were actually stealing cars and, screwing around like that. So,
yeah, but they're not going to move them around, Frank. That's
true.
They're not what is that called? A gaslight. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Could I talk a minute?
No, but you're right, Frank. I was talking about locks, though, too, and security systems. You're right. But with me, I know it's the purpose.
Yeah.
Could I talk a minute about the car?
That lady.
Sure.
That lady that stated about her car. She's been on here before, and she said more than one thing. It was multiple things that happened to her car.
Thank you so much. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's true.
Could I talk a minute?
Caller 67. Yes, the woman right there. that wants to speak?
That's me, Donna from Florida.
Donna.
It's me, Donna from Florida. Yeah, I wanted to say something about the cars because I actually finally caught who was at my car. Because my car a million times, and the glass was broken, and my car was finally stolen and whatever. But long story short, I just magically woke up. I saw the ambulance light going on, it looked like, outside, the red light. And we have a lot of that where I live. We have disabled people downstairs. So I got up and I looked out the window. But what I noticed was the fire department's truck was parked, how do I explain? We have a circular driveway, and they weren't in the driveway to pick someone up. They were in the parking lot. And the fire department was there. Nobody got out. And the ambulance was right in front of my car. And I noticed there was not a driver in it. And I'm waiting and waiting for somebody to get out. So I ran downstairs and ran over to my car. And with that, I saw the ambulance driver by my car. He ran to his truck, jumped up in it, and they took off. And that's how I knew it was the ambulance driver. And I never would have guessed at 3:45 in the morning, ambulance outside with a flashing light would be the last person you would even think of. But it was so big and it was in front of my little car, you would have never seen them. And it even blocks the camera. What do you know?
Yeah. In this particular instance, I don't think it's just random people that are messing with my car because I've had the windows damaged. I think it's the regulator, whatever, what even roll down anymore. Some type of manure spread on the cars, the tires. This has happened like 3 different times. Scratches on the car that it's not somebody's car door or a shopping cart because they're like way up near the roof of the car. I've had chemicals sprayed on the car. It's like every single day, just about, there's something done to my car. And they enter it all the time. And so it's it's never ending. They messed with the brakes one Sunday and tried to stage an accident. I had just taken my car to have it serviced, and I know my brakes were fine because when it comes to my car, I'm like on it. And on that particular Sunday, I got in the car and it was making a weird thing, and I'm like driving down the street. And this man pulls out of a parking lot and he like stops dead in the middle of the street. Now he sees me coming and yet he stops dead instead of like getting out of the way. And I had to swerve into the opposite traffic. Unfortunately, no cars were coming, but he knew that there was no way I would have been able to stop and not hit him. So on my way to church that Sunday on 3 different occasions, it was like, people were setting me up for an accident and stuff, but God is good. But nonstop with the car, nonstop.
Where are you? In what state?
Massachusetts. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm Donna from Florida, and I have been hit 10 times by speeding cars, people. And the 9th time I got hit, my neighbor looked at me. He was driving, and he said to me, if that wasn't a staged accident, if I ever seen one. And I thought he was crazy. Wow. Yeah, he said that to me.
Ask him to write an affidavit if he's willing to write an affidavit.
Well, he was my neighbor and where I was living at the time. And he was describing, the symptoms of being a TI. He was telling me all about it. And so I did notice he was telling me, like, what he was saying was happening. But see, I started to think he was crazy. I mean, this sounds crazy, but I thought he was crazy because of the things that was going on for him. Mm-hmm. So I kind of with all these things, I disassociated with him because, I thought he was crazy. But when I got hit the 10th time, which was after I just got my neck brace off, and the neighbor, it was so obvious, he hit me on purpose. So I knew, and then I caught the cop on, this cop that got fired. I caught him on my phone, my internet. I found the GPS, the GI at that point. It was in my face. So at that point, I got hit the 10th time, and it was really obvious the neighbor hit me with his car. And so at that point, I knew, I don't know how many of them were not real. They weren't accidents. Mm-hmm.
That sounds, I mean, if you could document that, I don't know what the statute of limitations is and how long ago. I don't know any of the facts, but it just seems like you might have a pretty decent case.
Well, they had two TIs in the car. That's what they had. They had two of us. Yeah. Yeah. And he lives a really sheltered life. Like, he hides, he barely leaves his house too. So, I didn't know at the time. I just didn't. It had to be real. And I had to catch the whole thing before I realized what was going on for myself,
So crazy. Jeez.
Wow. Well, what people don't realize is they're thinking what you're just seeing is the gang stalking. What you're seeing is just the gang stalking. What's going on that you don't see is so much more. There's so much more going on that you don't see. And if you think that it's not to take you out, no. It's only a miracle that will. What?
It's not funny, but it was kind of funny when you said it.
What?
Not funny at all, but no, it's nothing. I just like the way you said that. That's all.
No, it is.
Yeah.
It really is. It's not just harassment. I've seen it all. I don't believe that they take it as, this happened and that happened, and they're talking about it so casual. But if you really research and see what's going on, there's so much more. There's so much witchcraft involved and black magic that's involved, and so much technology, everything. It's not just, it's serious.
I noticed, I walk a lot, and I've noticed a number, starting about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, an increase in what looks like motorists trying to, either scare me or actually trying to stage an accident and run me over.
Yep, there's lots of that on my street. 50, 60 miles an hour. Those streets.
My most recent right now is they've set me up for jail. Within 60 days, I was set up for jail. Yes, within 60 days. A woman showed up. She pointed me out. They just moved in. They had 2 brand new cars, 2 kids, and they move in this junky over the garage apartment. I'm walking my dog. They point me out. And I said to the person on the phone, new arrivals. I got new arrivals, and they look like they're the tough ones. And about 2 weeks later, the door opens up when I'm walking my dog. And I grabbed my dog, and I got away. And then I forgot about it. 2 days later, I'm walking down the road, and I got attacked by the 2 dogs. Then my dog got tore up really bad. My hand got bit. I lost my phone. It got flying. And I went down to small claims court because I wasn't going to let them get away with it. And then she came into my apartment 3 times carrying on. Then she stalked me into the police department. I have it on video. I have a very clear video of that. I have clear video of her following me to the courthouse. And I filed for an order of protection. I got denied it. I filed for a rehearing. Okay. And there was no way for me, the order of protection that she got, because I didn't make it to court, the order of protection that she got is it says 500 feet, and she moved close, like right next door now since the dog attack, but she lives 172 feet from door to door. So every time that I turn my key, I go get my mail, I walk my dog, I'm in violation. So now I have a violation of an order. So I have to go to court for that I could go to jail for.
Wow.
Quick. They could
Just
set
for
you
going
up for
in and
jail.
out.
That quick.
Just for going in and out of your house? She called the police? Jeez.
Yes. Yes. The order of protection, no. I got a court date. I filed for a rehearing for the judge. And she handed me at the courthouse, she handed me the paper and she says, now she has to be served. So I posted it on her door. But see, that's, a violation. But see, the violation itself, it says on the violation that I don't have to move. It says for me not to move, I don't have to move. But yet, from door to door, we're 172 feet. So anything that I do is in violation of that order. Anything. Anything that I do. Because it says 500 feet. So it doesn't even make sense.
No.
No. But you posted it on her door after you had a restraining order on you?
Yes, the court. When I went to the clerk of court, she handed it to me and she said she still has to be served. But the way the order, but listen, the way the order is drawn up, okay, there is no way for me to legally serve her. There would have been no, in my situation, there would have been no way for me to legally serve her unless I had hired. What?
Accostable.
Right, no, that's a third party. No, it's the only way that I would have legally served her was if I had hired a private attorney to do so, because only they're allowed under the court supervision. And so because I'm disabled, I couldn't do that. So the public defender even said there was no legal way for me to do that. But the whole concerning thing is that it's so bad where I am. It's so bad that I walked my dog at 6 o'clock in the morning to the right instead of to the left on my property where I am. And the manager called the police because I walked my dog and I went to the right, not to the left. So they're right on it. That's what they're doing. It's all a setup. They can set you up, and that's what they do. They just set you up, and then they just wait for you to, as it stands right now, there's no legal way for me to do anything. I can't even turn the key to my door without violating it.
Wow.
I wanted to ask the young lady just said, wow, I don't know your name.
Starla.
Skylar?
Nope, we can Starla.
Okay.
Starla. Skylar. Can you hear me? Yep. Just
Are you
Star
saying Star?
Star with LA. We can just. Yep.
Okay. Starla,
Yep,
do you
Star.
get any other target? Do you get any other targeting besides your car?
My apartment is entered constantly. I am zapped from the moment I step out of my apartment door. I'm zapped all day, every day. I am zapped. I know a lot of people think it's satellite, but I'm zapped in apartment viciously, and I have lots of bruises on my body to indicate that and show that. And yep, viciously, savagely, I am attacked. Yep. Why do you ask? You think I have it good?
No, because you. Oh no! Don't nobody got it good.
No, I'm jotting. I'm really being funny. Be funny, but I was being funny. No, I was just being funny.
Some people assure us that they're telling us the truth. Sometimes it feels so weird what they're saying to them. It feels odd, which of course it is odd, but at the same time, we've heard it and we've experienced it, and we believe you. I just want you to know that we do believe what we hear. I just wanted to mention that.
Excuse me.
I mean, the people that follow me, it's just it's just amazing that they're so. It's literally an army of folks, and you know, I mean, from every walk of life and education, and men in fine cars, and that's that's really something. You know, I've been strategically placed in my apartment building to be harassed, and it's working just fine. Yep.
Actually, I think it's hilarious.
The building, that is. So.
I think it's hilarious because I go to get on the elevator with my dog, and we go up like 6 floors, and the other elevator was down. And I had somebody with me, and I was telling them about, you know, what I go through, and, you know, they're like, the dog smells. They won't go near the dog. It's a little 9-pound Yorkie, right? And so they're like, yeah. So we stop on 6 floors going down, right? And not one person would get on the elevator. And I look at them and I say, do you even believe this?
Because you had a Yorkie with you? Because you had your Yorkie with you, they wouldn't get on?
Yeah, it's like, you know, the one guy, he like grabs his dog and runs down the hallway, and, you know, it's a constant, yeah, it's so ridiculous. It's like, I laugh at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no matter what, Yorkies aren't going to hurt anybody. Or, you know, they can't smell.
No, it's, yeah. If anybody has a pit bull that I can borrow for the day, I'll definitely rent it and feed him well, but I'd love to just have one for one day.
Rent a what? I'm sorry, rent a what?
A pit bull.
Oh.
Well, my neighbors have some, and 2 of my neighbors, and every time I show up to get on the elevator into the building, leaving the building, whatever, here they come with their dogs. So they might let you borrow theirs. I'm so sorry. I've been zapped so much. I'm like, it's becoming comical right now. I guess that's a good thing. I don't know.
Yeah. I think laughing at them is good. It's good for the soul, I think, you know?
Yeah.
Do any of you, and apart from the person who had a suggestion about putting olive oil and cotton ball and putting it in your ear, does anybody else has anybody done that, and has it been helpful?
I put hemp oil in my ear.
You put what?
Hemp oil. Hemp is
oil.
Good. Hemp works.
Yeah, but where do you put it?
Oh, I just put it on my finger and put my finger in my ear and just, you know, that helps the tinnitus. It helps stop the tinnitus, I find.
I've heard mineral oil. People have used mineral oil.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
You can get that right in the drugstore.
And put it in your ear.
Yeah. You can take a little cotton. You can take a little cotton swab and, you know, dip it in the oil and then run it. You know, put it in your ear.
But I would think be careful because you don't want a lot of fluid in there.
Yeah.
Or else you're going to get an earache, ear infection. So, you know, just put a little bit, but it might help.
What about the one lady that said that on the internet that she put rubber bands in her ears? She put those little bitty rubber bands.
Wow.
Yeah, she said it worked. She said it worked. I don't know.
Maybe that's advice from a perp. That sounds a little.
I don't know.
Risky.
I don't know.
You can get earplugs. You know what is the you know, kind of earplugs that are kind of malleable. You can mold them. Get what their material is, but that helps. First I put oil in and then I put one of those in my ear. That helps. it helps stopping them from talking to you at night if they're coming into your head through tinnitus, which my understanding is sort of a subliminal way to talk to you.
Yes.
That does cut down on that. It does. The oil and the cotton in the air, the earplug, it does cut down on that. I do wake up in a better mood when I do that. And I do think.
Well, how do they wake you up at night? Because they wake me up all hours. How are they doing that?
Frequencies.
Are they doing it with their phone?
They jolt in your body with the weapon. Which their frequencies they jolt your body and you get up.
Try to make enough noise. Do you guys wake up at the same time? Do you wake up at the same time every time? I do. I wake up at the same
Not always.
time every time.
Not always. But I notice that they're outside. It'll be 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. And if I wake up, I look outside. There they are, sitting out on the bench.
Wow.
Get your camera out. Take good pictures.
Yeah, but how do you coordinate that? I mean, how do you can't tie it together? How?
If you've got them on the same bed, right by your house, time and time and time again at 3 a.m., you've got some good stuff there. You can
really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but how do you connect it when you don't see the frequency? See what I'm saying?
Is it your property?
No, it's an apartment.
Oh, okay.
Make sure you get a picture of the bench. Take a picture from outside. Make sure that the bench is in the picture, and then show how close it is to your apartment. And if you have a camera that has a timestamp, and you take pictures at 2, 3, and 4, there's an issue. Who sits around out in the middle of the night, sitting outside just casually? That doesn't happen.
Yeah, but see, I have plenty of footage of all kinds of stuff. I mean, I carry a camera everywhere I go. I have a lot of stuff. I have stuff that I haven't released yet. They hacked my computer. I actually got somebody to unhack it, but they just hacked it before I was going to go to court because I had a lot of proof. But the thing is, I talk to lawyers and they don't want to represent you on these things because, they know what's going on. They've been told. I've been told by friends that were lawyers, I don't want to die. I don't want to get involved. That's what they say. So you have all this proof, but when are they going to have a class action? When is everybody going to do something? Who's going to represent? See?
Well, that's what targeted justice is looking into. They're collecting a lot of information. My understanding is. Other than that, I don't know. We're just. I know it seems like, come on, you guys, what is happening? But the thing is, they have been so powerful in keeping it down. Keeping the information and countering us with we're crazy and it's crazy. They've worked really hard at keeping this under wraps, but that's not working anymore. It's coming out. There was, an article in New York Times that validated us. There, the gentleman, the ambassadors at the embassy in Cuba and in China, that's now public information. It is starting to surface, and they're not going to. This is too important, and it's witnessed by too many people to shut this up anymore. We're working. It's coming.
It was on the news. It was on the news yesterday too, Linda.
Was it?
It was on Fox 25 News that the NSA had people on this watch list, and they couldn't get through the security at the airport. Lots and lots of people, and the Senator Kerry said they're not on no watch list. So it's getting exposed. It's getting exposed.
Boy.
I seen it twice yesterday. Twice. I had to see it again to make sure I wasn't hearing things.
Yeah, and it's just started, you guys, to surface publicly, and so, now it's really going to take off. We've never been able to get the ball rolling before. We've tried, we've worked at it, but now that the embassy was attacked, the people over there at the embassy were attacked, and that's become public information. That's huge. That's just huge for us.
Well, you know why it's getting more exposed, because they're targeting more and more people. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're targeting more and more people. You know, they didn't have this many people before, so that's why it was so hush hush. Now they got so many people, and then look at all this technology we got. Look at all this media we got. We got Facebook, we got Twitter, we got Instagram, we got this, we got that, we got. So now it's getting out there.
Yeah, they can't keep a lid on it anymore. You know, they
Right.
just can't.
Right.
I mean, we've got medical information. We've got proof. You know, that this, and especially with the Cuba, you know, with the attacks, the microwave attacks. My God, they're absolutely confirming what we've been complaining about, and it's being confirmed by real legitimate sources. You know, it's
and 1 million people cannot have the same symptoms,
right,
and be crazy. And 1 million people can't be crazy all at the same symptom.
They tried
See what
to
I'm
say,
saying?
yes. What they've been trying to say is it was mass hysteria that was like, it was contagious. We were just, you know, on calls and just people were picking it up and getting hysterical. Well, no, that's not going to work.
Well, I'm not on the call in Cuba. I'm not in the call in Japan.
Exactly.
And so and they got and I'm over here in Boston, Massachusetts.
Exactly.
So I don't know them people in Cuba.
Yeah.
You know? So we all cannot have these same signs and symptoms and all be mentally ill. That's crazy. That it can't happen that way.
Exactly. That plus Ted Gunderson's affidavit about targeting, you know, former head of the FBI, that's a big deal. And he confirms the targeting. I mean, that plus all this proof coming out of Cuba and China, we're on our way. We're moving. You know, I think they didn't expect the, you know, they didn't expect the social media to be such a force for us. And that's really is, you know? They didn't plan on this.
That's why they block me. That's why they block all my posts. I put up about mind control, electronic harassment, organized stalking. They don't let nobody see it. You don't never see a post from me, Linda, on none of that. Or if you do, it's only you, all TIs. They don't let my family and friends see it. They block it. They limit my audience.
For sure. For sure. Well, they can't do that too much longer either, you know? I mean, it's all over the place. It's in the news. It's in the paper. It's just...
Exactly. Boston Globe, Frank, it was Boston Globe who got it to Fox 25 about the NSA watch list and travel. My son and his girlfriend just tried to travel 3 weeks ago, and they got all the way through the security checkout, and they said that their flight was canceled.
Oh, wow.
How is that? How is that?
Yeah, right.
How is their flight canceled?
Yeah. Boy.
Yeah, the one that struck me that has the most information because of all the various links is the New York Times. That is an incredible story, and I have plus the one with the woman who did the independent research. I don't have the paperwork right in front of me, but that was fantastic. Now, I understand C-SPAN has footage out. Does anybody have it?
Footage of what?
Footage of, you know, various conversations, comments, text, the whole 9 yards.
Of what? Of what though?
Of Cuba and China.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Isn't that
great? I saw that. That was back a little bit.
Okay, I understand there's a new one, but I'll check.
Well, Derek said it was like on a whole bunch of channels there for a while, you know. And that lady's you mean the doctor in San Diego that did that write-up, that investigation? Wasn't she wonderful? Yeah.
Those are all posted on our site. Just go to targetedmassachusetts.org. Just go to news, News 1, News 2, I think. Page 1 and 2. They're split into half.
Yep, I read it.
Yep,
I read it.
All there.
I couldn't get into that when I tried. I don't know what happened.
HTTPS :
No, I was on the site,
Yeah.
but I couldn't open it.
News?
Yeah, it wouldn't open. It was like
you just
froze.
You just
or
click
something.
the tab.
Click the tab News.
Well, I thought I did.
All the navigation's up at the top of the page.
Maybe that's okay. Maybe that's what it is. I'll try again.
Yeah, there's a lot of good information. A lot of good docs too. But it's all free. You can copy any of the documents and print them, whatever you like.
But there's so many angles to this whole thing. It's not,
Oh, I know. It's all going to be wonderful. I can't wait because it's too close now.
Frank, it's the indictments that they have that's going on, like it's all over the internet, and you hear about all these indictments that they're waiting on. Is this part of that, do you think, or what?
Yes. I knew for quite some time that there would be a huge corporate takedown. In other words, CEOs everywhere would get taken out. And over the past year, that's actually come true. And they've knocked out one CEO after another for, misconduct, this, that. But it's basically, they went after them for pedophilia. And I am so happy that they grabbed them in spite of their money. So they could not get away. I understand one man today tried to get out of it, and his company offered him $100 million to leave, and then $130 million if he admitted it or something like that. So I don't know. It's just crazy, but they're going to take down a lot more.
What CEOs? Are you talking about the Me Too movement and sexual harassment?
Yes, they're going down one after another, but there are white collar fraud going on everywhere. There's
right. That's why I ended up getting targeted so bad. I didn't even realize the severity of what I had known about, because it was a pedophilia case involving local people that were involved in a pedophile case that they should be in jail. But it was quietly, and they know I know, so that's why they really, came after me. They were like, oh, we got to make sure she's, like, isolated. I had video of everywhere I went around town. I couldn't go anywhere. I go to Publix, I had an incident. I went to YMCA, I get out of the pool, I have an incident. I go to the phone store, I had an incident. And I have a lot of this on video, Yeah. So it's sad, but did you see in Ohio and Arizona they found all of those makeshift camps for children? Yeah, it's all over. The people that live in the areas are not letting it go. Apparently, some of the law enforcement knew about it and they didn't. They didn't respond to them, asking for an investigation. So they're all getting together. They're like vets and people in the community. What it was they were vets and different people in the community. They have a name. They go looking for homeless people to help them, and they came across all these makeshift children camps, which was obviously it looked like they found hair dye and children's things, and it was obvious that the shackles on trees. It's all over the internet, and the people won't let it go because they haven't really investigated it at all. So,
well, maybe the police will start paying attention when people report things. Obviously they're not, right?
Well,
that's why people and good for them. I mean, we've been kind of scared out of reporting things. I think because we never know what they're going to do, sort of thing. I think this is good that people are being caught. I don't know why I just said that. Just seemed like to fit. I think that's good for us too that this is coming out now. As far as our, the what we're up against is coming out, because the police have been ignoring this. They have been calling this crazy, but they can't do that. I mean, look at what's happening.
The police have had their hands tied quite a bit with this.
Right.
What do they call that? Racial profiling, and they've had to sit back. The FBI could not investigate. That family in New Mexico where they found all those kids. Well, they knew about it, but they couldn't do anything because of this principle of racial profiling. They're always afraid to do something because they get in trouble if there is an ethnic group that complains. So that's a problem for the law enforcement from their point of view. Yeah.
I saw something that was very striking today on the news. It may have not happened today. It was probably yesterday, but I saw it again today. A white older woman and a young black man were driving down the street, and they were pulled over by the police, and the black man was told to get out of the car and walk away, and I guess he was handcuffed, and it was actually her adopted son. So they thought that the black person was taking the older white woman hostage. Now, isn't that disgusting?
Oh, man.
Sure.
Can I comment? Can I comment?
Yes.
It was two older Caucasian women in the car, and it was an 18-year-old kid, and it was the grandson. And
I'm sorry.
And yeah, it was a grandson. And in this particular instance, what I read was that an African American couple, older couple, saw this young kid in the car with his family and assumed that he was kidnapping these two women. And so the cops came up and arrested him, and it was an ugly scene, and they eventually realized that it was a mistake, an error, and they let him go. But from what I read, it was African American people who called the police and said that this African American young child who's driving Miss Daisy, Daisy, whatever. I'm just joking because I'm tired and haven't had no sleep. But they were related, and so that's what happened.
That's terrible. It really is.
It is terrible.
I agree.
But that's.
But here's a little interesting thought.
Okay.
It's something along the way that I learned. Just as easily as they set us up, we could be setting them up. I've kind of done it a little bit along the way. Example: if you know that this person who's acting like your friend or acquaintance or whatever, and they're befriending you, they're acting like your friends and all, and they want to go eat lunch in the park, right? And so you probably looking to set you up, right? So it gives you an opportunity. You have to be very careful with what you touch and your food and all that, but it gives you an opportunity to see what they're after, their questions that they ask you. It's an opportunity to bring a microphone with you, a camera with you, leave your phone on, accidentally record, all that. You can do that and get an idea of what they're after or what their next move is going to be or what they're doing. Sometimes it'll help you. Sometimes it won't. I did this the other day. and I wanted to see what they were after. And what they were after was I went and sat in the park and I ate a hamburger, right? And I treated them to a hamburger. And I watched and seen what they were after and the questions they were asking. And lo and behold, there was a police officer sitting there on the bench listening to everything that I was saying. So I looked at them when they were done talking. And I said, oh, look at that, a badge and everything. And they said, oh, yeah, they come here all the time in the park because, you know, the police station's right up the road. And I said, do they? But there's, you know, believe it or not, you know the old expression, keep your enemies close. Mm-hmm. You know, keep your enemies close to you. Have you ever heard that expression? What is it?
Keep your friends close. Keep your enemies closer.
Correct. That's it. You know, there's a lot in that. Okay, I found out a lot of stuff keeping my enemies close. People that were acting like my friend. When I started realizing what was going on, that's how I caught and was able to maneuver away from what they were planning on doing next, is by doing that. You know? So, you know, while they're talking to you, you're just looking through their papers and looking through their phone and playing stupid. And that's how you find out what they're planning on doing to you next.
Fool me once, you can't fool me once. No, fool me twice. No, fool me. I'm sorry.
You,
no, when you said that, the George Bush thing came to mind when he was trying to say "fool me once, you can't fool me twice" or something else, and he couldn't get it out. And so that's what that's what came to mind when you were trying to think of keeping the enemy close thing, which I think is from The Godfather. But nonetheless, the whole time you were talking, that was playing in my brain. George Bush trying to. And then he finally gets up and says, you can't fool me again.
Go ahead, honey. Go ahead. I was just going to say, I think the thing to do is for us to trust our intuition, you know, trust our gut reaction to people, because it's very often right. Sometimes our gut is telling us something our head isn't recognizing, you know, but when we get, it's like something's wrong with this picture, believe it. And in that regard, this friend of mine, I've had run-ins with unfortunate number of dentists who have pretty much wiped some of a lot of problems. And this quote-unquote friend who has, it's a long story, but she and her husband, she said, and she's been trying to get me to go to Mexico to have these wonderful people take care of my teeth. And I just heard a couple of days ago that they're not letting even citizens of the country, they're not letting back in, even though they have a passport. And I thought, whoa, you know.
I heard that too. Mexico is really bad right now.
Yeah.
You can't get back from Mexico even if you're a citizen?
Yeah, they're not letting them in.
Really bad.
And they're doing that to a lot of people, and if your name is, if, you know, they've already alerted them about you, I'm sure they could use that.
Oh,
keep you out of the country,
red flag.
You know?
Red flag.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I felt. All of a sudden, whoa, I'm not going down to Mexico.
Has anybody tried to fly yet?
And Cancun has been really bad. Oh, God, the murders have been bad of Americans in Cancun. Oh, my goodness. Decapitated and everything.
To fly where?
Out of the country or in the country. I think you may be allowed to fly into the country, around the country, or nationally. But internationally, I'm wondering if anybody would get red flagged.
I did fly to Vegas at one time.
Okay.
And I take that back. I did have problems, but it wasn't horrible. I mean, I was able to get on the plane after they put me through all kinds of things. But so yeah, I have flown, but not out of the country. That's a good question. I don't know. That's something that occurs to me too.
Excuse me. I have, and yeah, I think I was marked, but I mean, it went similar to what Linda, who was just speaking about going to Vegas, similar to what she was saying. It went through. I mean, I could tell that I was being followed and observed, but it went. I mean, there were no. I mean, it was okay.
Yeah.
Brian Spirit is all over the world for years. He's been flying all over the world. I think he was attacked in an airport, wasn't he? Once. Brian, too.
Oh, yeah. He was.
In China? Was that in China? It was somewhere where he was viciously attacked.
Yeah.
But as far as his restrictions for flying, he seemed to be doing okay there for a while. Hope he's all right. Frank, did you ever get in touch with him? Who is Frank? I keep coming and going.
Did I ever get in touch with?
Brian, too. You said you were going to try to contact him. I just wondered how he's doing because he was really ran off. He was run off the call one night, and I haven't heard from him since.
Oh, okay. So yeah, he's been on the call too much, and I think he finally got some sleep.
Oh, he's been on your call?
Oh no, I thought you were talking about Ryan.
Brian with a B.
Oh.
T-E-W.
Oh, Brian. Okay.
Yeah, you know him.
Okay. Brian Marks?
Nope, Brian 2.
Brian 2. I can't.
Yeah.
He's in trouble. A video just came out with, okay, caller 64.
Well, I can't understand you at all.
Yeah,
What's
can you
going
hear me
on?
now?
Yeah, better.
He has a video that's going around where he's having a heart attack.
Oh dear. Okay.
In fact, I've got the link handy if you want it.
I don't do that. I do. I can listen to YouTube. You know, so he still does those, I guess. Well, maybe you could tell him about that heart attack esophagus thing I was hearing you talk about. That would be good.
Yeah, well, the esophagus is one of the things, the esophagus and the stomach. All of you know that if you have an emotion, it ends up in your stomach one way or another. Whether it's fear, your stomach tightens up. Well, the perps work on all this, and they generate acid and reverse engineer feelings and whatnot. But as far as the heart attack goes, the esophagus runs directly behind the heart. So if they slam the esophagus and make it really hurt, they constrict it. It feels somewhat like a heart attack. And if you get a pain in your chest, what's the first thing you think of?
Heart.
Yep. Don't panic. That's what you have to do. You have to sit down and, take some breaths and analyze the situation. If you have a heart condition, predetermined, pre-existing, then you want to worry about it and call an ambulance. But in a situation where you don't have a history of any heart issues, I would definitely sit it out for a few minutes and see how you feel. Because if you panic, it will drive you into your own heart attack. That's what they're hoping.
Yeah.
So when they get caught finally with all of this equipment, they can say, "Oh, that doesn't target the heart, that targets the esophagus," and that's the gospel truth right there. Because they plan on getting caught. Because you cannot do this to, millions of people.
But anybody feel that can be medically proven of the way your Yeah, that could be medically proven.
Has
If they
been.
target your esophagus, it could do that.
Yeah. The way it was proven is I didn't have a heart attack 3 times. There was nothing in my blood to suggest it. And I forget the chemicals that are produced in your blood when you have a heart attack. But 3 times it was said that it was esophageal. So I didn't panic after that or go to the hospital, you know. So that was 3 hospital trips that they cost me. So
I want to tell you one thing. This is personal.
sure.
About 3 years ago, they were using ultrasonics on me, and they would make my organs convulse, you know, everything, all around. Sometimes it's in my abdomen, sometimes in my chest. It just depended. And one night, I remember that it was convulsing right there in my chest, and it hadn't hurt. It was just convulsing, you know. And so I remember I just laid there for a while, and then I felt and almost heard a spew. And not long after that, I started losing the ability to go very far without losing my breath. I didn't do anything about it, but finally had I don't do doctors very often, but when I did, he said, "You have a murmur." And gradually that has been getting worse. They can damage your heart by using ultrasound. That's why I'm sorry that we're not addressing, you know, all these other ways they do it, because people can be hurt in that way.
You know, there's also a blood test that can identify if you've been hit by a lot of, what is that, radiation. I don't remember what it is, but there is one out there that can
Oh, yeah.
prove that you have radiation.
Yeah, here's some information. I used to work for a doctor. It's in Lakeland, Florida. And they do heavy metal testing. They do everything you're talking about. His name is Robinson. And Dr. Todd Robinson in Lakeland, Florida. And there has been, when I worked there were quite a lot of people that actually had been poisoned. And the person got caught. Sometimes it was a boyfriend or someone living in the house. But, yeah, so you need a natural medicine doctor like him who does parasites as well. But sometimes that can save your life.
How are they able to isolate, or are they able to isolate external environmental factors that are separate from grouping or from sabotage versus a direct sabotage? I mean, it seems like there are any number of external environmental threats,
They can
like quite
change,
apart from stalking.
They can change your perception of what you are looking at. They can change your perception of what you are hearing. They can change your perception of what you are feeling. So this is what you have to be careful of. Number one, outside circumstances, they can drop a barrel full of paranoia on you. And so that you're instantly heightened at the top of your emotional envelope in terms of perception. So you are already looking for a problem. And all you need is something to move out of the corner of your eye, and you're in a fit.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was overdosed on steroids by a doctor at the cancer center for 3 months. And it threw me into, I can't believe I lived through it, but it threw me into Cushing's, my blood pressure. I was in the hospital. And the two doctors that had seen me, 2 separate occasions, actually 3 doctors, they all admitted that the doctor overdosed me on steroids. And it threw my body into, like, crazy. Like, I couldn't walk across the room. I couldn't. I would pass out. In fact, my pituitary is now shut down because of it, and it still hasn't. It hasn't come back. So I have a permanent shutdown pituitary right now, and I have to take medication. But I was smart enough to know that I had to get off the steroids quick. So as slowly but as quickly as I could, I pulled myself off of it. But that made me, you know, I'm not going to say paranoid, but it made, if an ant crawled, I could see it.
That's good you got off of those, because steroids will hurt all of your organs. Long-term use.
Yeah.
I just went through that with my mother.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't long-term. It was that he had overdosed me. He had me on 60 milligrams a day.
You know, they can hit our organs. They can mess with our thyroid. You know, they can mess with our hormones, and that's they do. I mean, that started for me 20 years ago. But I mean, so it's a good idea to have your thyroid checked. You know.
Yeah, mine is actually half of it is destroyed.
Yeah.
I still have to have it out, and it's been one of those things that they said, okay, you can have it out or not.
Were you high or low?
It's not hurting anything yet, but half of it is destroyed, and I can either have it removed or not. So rather than have some defective tissue in there, I'm going to have it removed, and the other half of it is functioning perfectly.
Oh, wow.
So I don't have to take any pills. If you get it taken out, you have to take pills for the rest of your life.
You sure do.
Hey, now, here's a natural medicine again. The doctor that I worked for, that I just told you, he treated it. He works, you know, with chemists and whatnot, and you know, he will go to medication. I mean, he'll prescribe medication if he has to, but he always tries the alternative first, and he works very well with thyroids, by the way, because a lot of times, you know, the liver and the thyroid, when you've been, you know, exposed to, you know, chemicals and whatnot, those are the first to go. They'll give you problems. And he's remarkable with those. It's a natural medicine is a way to maybe try first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I take Armour Thyroid, which is a pig's thyroid gland from pig's thyroid glands, and that's considered pretty natural, you know, because it goes directly into the bloodstream instead of trying to make your own thyroid gland work harder. It just goes right into your bloodstream, you know.
Right, and it works really well, doesn't it?
Very well. Yeah, one doctor tried to put me on like Synthroid, and it just didn't work, you know, because the Armour goes right into that bloodstream. It really works.
Okay, guys, I'll be right back in about 3 minutes, okay, or 5 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll be here. And the gentleman that prescribed the Armour Thyroid for me was Oriental, very into natural, you know, stuff too. So God bless him. He knew exactly what he was looking for. And the interesting thing is they didn't really teach doctors much about thyroid in medical school, because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings here, but because it was considered a woman's disease, especially after menopause, because all your hormones go down. So they didn't pay all that much attention to it, unfortunately. So if you do go to a doctor and you think you have low thyroid and your energy is way down, I couldn't get up the stairs. Well, also iron too. They'll mess with your iron. But the regular thyroid doesn't work. Oh, the doctor has to test for free T3s. Did your doctor do that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shows the actual content in the blood rather than just
correct.
You know, yeah. And so
and a lot of the doctors don't do that.
They don't do it exactly. In fact,
Yeah,
the doctor
that's
that I
why,
went to when I moved here, the doctor that I went to, I said, when I was having a blood test, I said I want my freaky threes tested, and he said, "Oh, that doesn't matter." Even
Yep,
the old
yep.
yeah.
It's just like me. Yeah, I went to CP, especially down here in Polk County, and I said, "Look, I have a family history of celiac disease." I said, "Can you test me for celiac?" Because I was having one of the symptoms is back pain. And I said, can you test me for that? And they laughed at me. I only heard of that once in medical school, and this is the second time. What do you think? And so they never tested me. I ended up in the hospital with a related condition within a year. Yeah. He's an idiot.
We know our bodies. We know, and we can research so much online now, that I think that helps a great deal.
But see, the biggest thing I think that targets need is a medical surrogate. Because if I had a medical surrogate or somebody that would have went to the doctor with me or knew a little bit or knew how to read an MRI, knew how that way back when, I wouldn't have ran into all the problems I did.
Yeah, and also somebody who remembers, who is right there witnessing what the doctor did and said. I think that helps.
Yeah, all the way.
Yeah.
Because they can kill you.
Yep.
It's real
and
fast.
say they didn't know. Yeah, exactly. Or they can destroy your teeth, which they did me.
Well, I went into stomach surgery. Well, I shouldn't say stomach surgery. I had a second MRI that I had lymphoma. So, so they had to do 3 biopsies on the back wall of my stomach. They tried to go into my back, but it didn't work. And when I look back now, it was a good cop, bad cop, 2 doctors, So I went into the hospital. I was a nervous single mom, I had to get back to work. I went in and they gutted me like a cow, right? And I was treated really, bad. But anyhow, the doctor comes in and she says, "Oh, no cancer," after they were all done. Well, I would have never known anything. Nothing. I would have never known. Here I am. That was 2009. 2013. I get wheeled in by ambulance. I had a car accident, a bad one, and my chest hit me in my solar plexus, my stomach. So they x-rayed and CAT scanned, and it showed that I had no spleen. And I'm like, what do you mean I have no spleen? Where's my spleen? And then it said I had linear metallic density overlapping my abdomen. So I look at the operative report, and the operative report says no such thing. It says simple biopsy.
Wow.
So I go to the hospital. I'm like, where's the patent for this medical device?
Yeah.
Well, we don't have that on record. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, X-rays and MRIs don't lie. You were the only one in my damn stomach.
Yeah. Wow. I love that we don't know what you're talking about, Frank.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How did they destroy your teeth?
Oh, they just kept grinding them down, too small, and then crowning them, and then the crowns would break off over and over and over. It was insane. It was such a setup. I mean, my teeth on my lower jaw are just fine. They're perfect. No problems. I didn't just take care of my teeth on my lower jaw, My teeth were in good shape until they got a hold of me. It started a long time ago, though. It started in 1994 when a doctor pulled a number, or a dentist did, and then it just gave me problems. And so I finally decided to implants and go from there, and that started out fine. 3 doctors said, no, you don't have enough bone for implants. And the next doctor said, what do you mean you don't have enough bone? You've got yards of bone. What are they talking about? They wanted to pull out all the teeth in my upper jaw and give me a, false teeth up there. I didn't need that. I had all my teeth then, except for the front. It's a long story, but anyway. And then he got weird. And it just has gone on and on and on. Dentists are good, and then all of a sudden things start to change, and they get kind of fuzzy, and they...
Isn't it funny? Yeah. Isn't it funny that whenever you go somewhere like a doctor, dentist, or even a store, and you go in the first time and everything's just fine and everybody acts normal, and then the next time you go back, everybody's acting like a bunch of fruitcakes.
Or scared. I had two different dental offices. They were acting like they were afraid of me, like I was dangerous. Me, I raised 4 boys. I used to volunteer with everything. Crazy. I'm not dangerous, but apparently they get to them and tell them we are. And that's where I think the issue of, they're claiming that we're either terrorists in the making, something along those lines, which is crazy.
Yeah, me and my walker and my little Yorkie. I'm a terrorist.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I'm harassing my neighbor. Okay, yeah. Yeah, my ghetto neighbor with her tattoos and piercings and her freaking red ass hair. Yeah, right. I'm harassing her with her souped up Corvette. Yeah.
Putting her in danger, right? Oh no.
Yeah, her mag wheels. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then of course you've got that dangerous Yorkie.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll really get you, man.
Yeah, right. Boy, be careful of those.
People ask me, what's wrong with that dog? He doesn't bark.
Oh, little cuties. They're adorable. I used to put mine in my purse, take him in any store with me. I had 2 Yorkies and loved him. Yeah.
Yeah, this one's white. He's a white one. He's a Yorkie Schnauzer. He's a Snorky. Yeah, he's white.
Yorkie and what? What's the other part?
Schnauzer, a miniature Schnauzer and a Yorkie. Yeah, he's a Snorky. He looks like the little teaser dog.
My little girl, she was about 4 pounds or 3.5, teeny tiny teacup Yorkie. Tiny. Yeah, they're sweet little dogs.
You think we ought to get some T-shirts made, homemade terrorists, or what do you think?
Well, I don't think we want to walk around with a sign that says homemade terrorists. We'll get thrown out real fast. I don't think that would work. I don't know.
I'm just joking with you.
and then wonder why people are afraid of us.
I'll have to get one for my dog, though. I definitely have to get a T-shirt for my dog, homemade terrorist.
Yeah.
Definitely. Crazy. I don't know anymore.
Nope. I think that's why these calls are so good for us,
Ella didn't show up tonight. She usually does. Maybe she is sleeping online.
Could be.
Busy girl.
Yep.
I got to make it around to the calls more, but I just don't have time,
Yep.
So, Frank, what do you think about a lot of the TIs that are, a lot of them have gone over to like stealth vans, living in, RVs so that they're more on the move and they're more, discreet, so to speak, living. What do you think of that? I mean, a lot of them are doing that now.
Psychologically, it gives them the feeling that they can leave and hit the road anytime they want. All they have to do is unplug and leave. When you're in a house, you are surrounded by things that you have to move, things that you clean every day, the same noises, the same, same everything. But if you have an inkling that you can pull the plug and split, that is very good for your persona, very good psychologically. So that's why they're doing it.
Well, I see retirees do it too. It's a dream that people have when they work for 20 years on a job.
Yeah.
They think one of these days I want to travel and pick up and leave when I get ready to. And it is nice. You can do that. I did that for a while. And you can, you get on the road, but when you get somewhere and settle into one spot for even 2 or 3 days, eventually they will catch up with you. Maybe quickly or maybe longer, but they catch up.
You do, but then you get to move again.
And then you get to move again. But there are some beautiful places in this country, to find a spot and just stay there. And if you do find one, it's not bad to stick around for a while. Yeah.
Another reason some of them have done it is because they feel that the metal or the aluminum that's surrounding them helps, and it may. I'm not sure. I've never done it.
Yeah.
The metal. I'm sorry, I missed part of the question. The metal in like a mobile home or something. Okay.
Yeah.
So does the lead paint help? I mean, they say you could get it from other countries.
I wouldn't recommend the lead paint so much. You can use it and seal it.
Yeah, well, you can put it on the outside too, no?
Yeah, put it on the outside, seal it, and forget it.
Yeah.
You can cover it with epoxy with an aluminum additive so that the epoxy won't become eroded by the sun. It's sort of like UV protection. And the aluminum in the epoxy might have a refractive effect upon the signals too. So there's all kinds of different ways to look at that. But yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think you're going to see more targeted individual. I think you're going to see a lot more of them getting stealth vans and probably putting, copper in it and, lead paint on the outside, whatever they got to do. I think that it's probably psychologically, like you said, better for them. I mean, I've thought of it myself, and I listen to different ones that have done it, and they do enjoy their lives more.
Do any of you know of a commune-like or a community of TIs living
not yet,
perhaps on a few acres of land?
Yeah, they're all in Missouri.
I mean, I don't mean survivalists. I mean, but TIs.
Yeah. There's some up.
The subject of Derek's call several times on Saturday or Monday night. He's thinking, or he's trying to organize something like that. There's some TIs on the planning to get on the road, but he's also talking about buying a piece of land where quite a few TIs can settle in, maybe in a tiny home or whatever. But they're looking into it. I don't know what happened to the guy in Oregon. There was somebody in Oregon who had some land who was going to do that, but and that was a couple of years ago. So I don't know what's happened in that regard. But you might get in touch with him and see.
Thank you.
Derek.
What state is he in, Derek?
Derek's in California.
Where real estate is very expensive.
Yeah. He was talking about
California's done. California's done. They're passing laws now. It's so ridiculous. You can't take a shower and do your wash in the same day.
I can. I live in California. I can.
They're saying they're passing them like crazy now.
It's a big state.
Who's that asking about the land? Who's asking about the land? Was somebody asking about land for put your RV on? There's a community of people with tiny houses or vans. Can you hear me?
What were you asking? I didn't understand.
No. I was wondering who was asking about, inquiring about TIs on the land with vans or RVs. Was someone asking about that just before?
Yeah.
I think so.
Someone was asking about a place to go for a tea house where they gathered and lived. I don't know
Yeah,
who it was.
Yeah, there was someone who was on the Monday night call about way over a year ago, and she was talking about her project was getting TIs on a property, like a pretty much primitive property, and what you mean bring your RV, and I don't really know much about it. It was like you had to email her, and she would give you her phone number, and you'd chat with her, and then, decisions would be made whether you were a good fit for what she was doing. So I have spoken to her a few times, but not for a long time. I haven't spoken to her in a very long time, but she does everything she can to keep it private, even though we don't have any privacy. She kind of believes that just cut down with as much as you can, like don't talk about where you're going, and don't, all these different types of rules, So I never got that far. I never visited where I could say, well, I found out what it looks like. I found out who's there, how many people are there. I can't say because I never visited. Had I visited, I would have gotten much more information. But I think you pretty much have to visit to get the information that you're looking for. And so I don't have her email on me, but you could probably get it from Derek. Derek has her contact information. And her name is Sharon. Just tell him Sharon, who has appears on property.
With Sharon Pasternak.
Yeah, that's right, Sharon Pasternak. Yep.
I have. If you tell me where somebody lives or where you think they live, I can tell you who they are. I've got a database.
Oh yeah.
Extensive.
Well, I think she started out in California, and I think she went to Oregon. Now I don't know if she has several different places where TIs are. As I said, everything's in the hush hush.
Well,
you have to pretty much be there to find out stuff.
She had a partner, and for years now we have been seeing a cartoon version of what they would like to create, which would be a bunch of cabins in a circle. I think that's what it used to be.
Yeah.
The partner, I guess, was a guy that was silent because we never heard anything from the partner.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think
caller
I may have spoken
67.
to the partner.
Yeah. So
I didn't know he was a partner though, but I think I may have spoken to him. Yeah. Go ahead.
So people have been off and on donating money, and I don't believe there's a return. So I'd be very careful with that one.
Yeah.
You have
to. I wasn't. I asked a lot of questions and I wasn't getting any answers. Let's put it that way. I asked a lot of questions and I got maybe one answer out of 30 questions.
You can buy a piece of land, but the area is in question as to what you can do. The area is in question as to, is it close to conservation land? Is it this? Is it that? Is it going to get 10 feet of snow in the wintertime and bury a bunch of TIs and isolate them? It's just one of these things that you have to think about. Remember, most TIs don't have too much money to spread around. And they're putting hope in this one individual, and if it blows up, it shatters the individual. So, yeah, we have to be very careful. That's all.
Yeah. So it just I wasn't supposed to go visit, and so I never did. And the timing was timing also. It wasn't the right timing for me to do that. And I just had too many questions and not any answers. So when that happens, it's just a big NO. That's what it is.
I do know that a lot of people are going to live in West Virginia around that government installation. West Bank, I think is the name of it. That town where they don't allow radios or
Yeah,
phones.
yeah. I don't know the name of it either. I can't remember, but I know what you're talking about.
West Bank, I think is the name of it.
Uh-huh.
West Bank, Virginia.
I guess an issue or a consideration with West Virginia is the overall environmental
terrain. Yeah.
Yeah, it has been problematic.
Well, we were going to take a trip there, and I guess it's I don't know whether it's 2 hours or 2 miles. I think it might have been 2 miles, a 2 mile hike to the actual station. And I can picture, all these people, struggling up the side of a mountain, It didn't work for me. I'm trying to.
Well, I know somebody who lives up.
Yeah.
And they have a cabin off the river, and they live off the land up there. They trade with each other. There's goats and cows, and and they go hunting, and some of them work a little bit, but they can live off the land. Which, with all the stuff that's coming down with the world, it's a direction that people really need to be looking at, because they're not going to be affected by all the garbage that's coming down.
Yeah. Well,
think of the Amish.
They won't let you in, I don't believe.
No, I'm saying think of the Amish, because they're laughing at us right now. We went and bought these fancy TVs, and they were watching us. And all these appliances that don't give you no water in your washing machine. You know what I'm saying? You get the gist. The smart meters are watching everything we're doing, but the Amish, they've been self-sufficient all these years, and who's laughing now?
Right, who's alive and well now?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
My mother warned me about this. That's why. My mother warned me. She did.
Their May wine is very good, from what I understand.
By the way, you might want to get your smart meter. You might want to get your smart meter off your house. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, for sure. Go out there with a double-barrel shotgun and just blow it off the side of your house.
I did have mine taken off, and it did make a difference.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does help.
How did you get yours off?
I called the power company, and they couldn't get out here fast enough.
Really?
Yeah, they're getting a little nervous. At least in California, they are. I called PG&E, and I said, I want my smart meter off my house. I want it replaced with a regular meter. And he said, do you want us there tomorrow? I said, no, give me a day. And, come in 2 days, and they were here. And then when they thought I was leaving, because I had a doctor's appointment, which I canceled, they showed up like 10 minutes after I was supposed to leave. They were going to take off the power meter that they had exchanged it out to put back on a smart meter. I said, well, what are you doing? He said, well, I'm putting your new smart meter on that you ordered. That's how anxious they are to get you to have a smart meter. So I told him to leave it alone, and he did. They want you to have those smart meters, boy. I think they tell them all kinds of stuff, I think,
Well, I asked the person coming to read my meter, because I have I'm out in the woods, and we're on 5-acre tracts, and so they're few and far between. But I asked her, I said, are they going to put smart meters up here? Because there was controversy in town. She said no, but what they're going to do is set up this thing to where they can shoot a signal, and it can be a mile or two away, and read your meter that way. So I said, it goes through whatever is in between, huh? She said, yeah. And if you say no, they will charge you $30 a month extra
for not agreeing to that and having the meter reader come out. so, so, not good.
They don't like that.
Well, here in California, they're only charging me $18 a month for a year, and then they stopped doing that. But they did charge me $78 for the new meter, which is a little pricey since meters really go for about $29. But they do charge you, but it's worth it. There was definite difference. I could feel a difference. You know, it was worth it.
Now, how close are those 5G things supposed to be? Because the towers are supposed to be closer together, is what they're saying?
Yeah.
So how,
Yes.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
They use a millimeter wave, which won't travel very far, but I'm remembering something that Peter Rosenholm mentioned probably last year, and that is that each cell phone is actually going to take the place of a tower in some respects, so that if there's another cell phone close by, it may go through your cell phone to his if they're getting a call.
that makes sense. There was an article written, I can't remember who wrote it, but it's been about 4 or 5 years ago, and she talked about this thing called a femto cell. And what it is a way to spy on someone's, cell phone. And she said what it does is interfere with the signal and act like the tower itself. So that's been going on for a long time. She said that, through divorces and people have been targeting other people that way for a long time. She said that it was in San Francisco, but I can't remember. Anyway, she said these hackers who were trying to do the right thing told her about it. So she was there, and all she had to do was walk. She walked outside, made a phone call, and they were inside, and they told her everything that was going on about it. Said you can be about 40 feet away and still get it, something like that.
Yeah. They can also get to your, if you have a phone to walk around with, they can hear that. They can get to that real easily. They can overhear that real easily, too.
I couldn't hear what you said. Can you say it again?
I had my house checked when I was in Manhattan Beach, and the guy, he was checking everywhere to see what the audio was, and he said, I don't know what he found altogether, but he said, come on downstairs, I want you to hear something. He had a recording of my sister on my phone talking to somebody, and it was a walk around phone. What do you call it? Cordless, phone that you can. It was that. He said, don't use that. Use a landline, because they can't overhear you on a landline, but they sure can on a cordless phone.
They can do a landline too. They can do a landline too. What they do is they get rid of the ground one way or another. They'll get rid of the ground. Once it's not grounded, that's when they just go into it. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What do you mean by that? When it's not grounded? Like I'm using a landline, and I suspect that my conversations are eavesdrop. But how are they?
Yeah, that's how
it?
I found out. Right. My mom used to work for the New York Telephone Company, and believe it or not, I hadn't been married long, and my mother said, "You got to open line." And I'm like, who's going to listen to me on the phone? Like, they want to hear about dirty diapers? I mean, And she said, you got an open line. I was a telephone operator most of my life, and I could tell when there's an open line. Call the phone company, have them come out. If you notice, the first thing they'll do is they'll put a thing on your faucet in your house. So you really want to have fun. You want to have fun. Get yourself a noisemaker or a flute, and let your house get real good and quiet. Let your phone conversation get real quiet, and then blow it into your faucet, by your faucet where it echoes. And yeah, it'll really hurt their ear. They won't be able to hear for a little bit. It's true, really. All they got to do is get rid of the grounds. If it's not grounded, they can listen.
What do
just
you
get
mean
rid
by
of the ground.
ground? And what is the faucet? I don't understand the relationship.
Okay, a lot of
between the
times it's grounded. Okay, it can be grounded. Like sometimes a house has a rod on the side, a rod out of the ground. Your house is grounded.
Yeah, I'm in
Your
an
house is
apartment.
grounded, right?
I'm in an apartment in a very dense neighborhood. I mean, I'm not in a house. I'm in an apartment.
So it would be okay. So it's got to be yeah. You could do what I just told you, but I don't know how you would fix that in an apartment. But if you keep calling the phone company, you'll see the first thing they'll do is they'll clip a clip on your faucet or for the ground. If it's grounded.
What do you mean by the faucet?
How do I explain? I'm not very good at explaining this, and I'm not very educated in it. But your house is grounded, and your water pipes. Your house has got a metal rod, or the building always has a metal rod on the roof, or going down into the ground. It has to be grounded for the electricity scattering. Right, your fuse box. So with that grounding is your phone. Your phone, you've got a main line. It goes through the electricity. It goes through, wiring. It's electricity. It's got to be grounded. So if the grounding is removed, they remove the grounding. They do whatever they have to do to remove the grounding. You have an open line, just like a cell phone. It's open.
I suspect somehow they're splicing. I think a lot of landlines now have a cable connection, right? I mean, I have no idea how they're doing it, but I suspect some interrelationship, like maybe just somehow splicing the cable. I don't know how they do it.
I can tell you, living in an apartment building, though, here's a really big one for you. Wherever your electric box is for your apartment building, right? And you want to know what neighbor is using frequency on you, guess what? What they're using most of the time takes a huge amount of electricity. So if you walk up to the panels where all the electric is coming into the apartment building, right? And you'll see all the meters going around, the ones the fastest, those are the ones that are using your frequency to you. So you can walk right up to those meters, and you can know by looking at them which neighbor's using them on you.
And if your bill is out of sight,
or their
that
bills,
too.
try to get them to screw up and talk and ask them about their electric bill if you suspect somebody. Yeah. See if you can get him to be stupid enough to say, "Oh, mine's really," get him to,
You got to be careful because if they have their electric dryer on and their stove at the same time cooking, that's going to smoke the meter up really high too. So you have to be careful.
Yeah, but the people that found the people, they really spin. Those things use a tremendous amount of electricity. They really spin. You can tell the difference right away by looking at them. They just go to town. And they'll go to town all the time. They don't stop. It just goes and goes and goes. And
yeah, no change.
I'd like to know who's paying the bill on these things.
Exactly. Or they hook up to your power and utilize your power source to observe you, and your bill goes sky high.
Most of the people that have caught these people doing it like that, they don't. They don't. Not in apartment buildings. And,
probably not. Yeah.
But there's been people that have caught them that way. They're like, hey, they showed it right on the internet. Hey, look at this guy right here. I found my neighbor who's using their frequency on me. Look at this baby spin. And they filmed it. It's been all over the internet. And you can see them. They spin like crazy. They use a lot of electric. So get access to that, whatever way you can to get access to that panel. And, tell the maintenance person, you're having problems. Is there something wrong? Can you look at it? Whatever you got to do, get to that panel. That's going to tell you. And, you probably have an idea already anyhow. No?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very, very interesting, terrible, treacherous thing that we've uncovered. Fortunately, the rest of the world is uncovering it now, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Big changes coming up. You wait and see.
You know, remember, Frank, all throughout the I'm sorry, I'm eating some ice cream. You know, at the first of this year,
What
throughout the
flavor?
first portion of this year,
I'm sorry.
you know how chocolate malt.
Okay.
We all kind of felt like something is coming. We all kind of felt like something is coming, and we all knew it. There was an energy that was different, and we knew something was going to be changing this year. We didn't know what. I don't think we expected it to be something as big as like the, you know, Cuba and China situation, because that's just major. But we all kind of knew something was going to be coming, and I think it is. And you do too, huh? Something good's coming. And look at, and with all of the attention that Ellen's billboards are getting, and all of the, I mean, and the protests all around the world in
Yeah.
so many countries.
I have a question for you, Frank.
Go ahead.
Hey, now you know that this may be coming, right? I mean, we all kind of suspect it. It looks like it's coming out in the open. But what? I mean, they've got a lot of indictments. We're talking, you know, double-digit thousands. Don't you think this is going to throw the country into possibly a revolution or a very big problem?
Okay, when this comes out all the way, people are going to flip out, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
There are going to be massive rushes to the hospitals to get checked out to see if they have it. And the hospital's going to say, we can't check you out. I mean, eventually they will, but they'll ask them all the questions that you know they're going to ask them. And it's going to be pandemonium on the field, so to speak. Might be civil war.
I'm talking about more like, like anger towards,
yeah.
you know, because they're going to realize it could have been them just as easy as it was us.
Well, they're thinking that it is them, and they haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
Assumption.
Mm-hmm.
Human nature and assumption are hand in hand.
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, human nature is really something. Stampede, that's what it, I mean, fire a gun in a bunch of wild, I don't know, steers, we'll call them, and see what happens. You get a stampede or buffalo. So in this case, people are going to they're going to spaz out. First of all, you're going to feel vindicated, and you're going to feel a big sigh of relief, number one. Number two, then you're going to have to fear not your neighbor so much, but everyone. So maybe it's a good idea to like split for a while when it all comes out, because it's going to be crazy.
That's why I say you need a stealth man.
Guantanamo is going to be full of perps awaiting trials at The Hague. That's one thing that's going to happen, because there's not going to be enough prison space for them all.
I wish I were so optimistic. I don't think
I'm just going by facts, I'm going by patterns, and I'm going by logic. And I'm going by the last week and the sequence. So something big's going to happen real soon.
Yeah, but I'm just afraid it's going to take down our country.
Well, you know something? The way the country has treated me, I'll trade the country for this V2K any day and this torture.
Yeah.
I'll go live somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'll go back to my ancestral home of Wales. You know, I've had it with this bullshit.
Yeah, I came from Scotland.
Yeah.
Yeah, my family came from Scotland. Yeah. You believe that maybe your family was targeted coming over through maybe Ellis Island and these different places?
Oh, my family came over long before that, but
Right. Well, my grandparents came over from Scotland and, back. But I'm thinking, I've listened to a lot of different people talk, and it sounded as though it was almost, in some cases, generational, and they were targeted coming in the country.
the thing is, though, the technology to do this, I think the government is probably 50 years ahead of what we know.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
if you look at it this way, we'll say 50s and 60s, they had the technology to start doing this.
I say before that.
Yeah.
I say the 30s.
Nah, you have to look
30, 40.
Okay, you
Mhm.
have to look at look at the Mercury capsule. The computer inside ran at 5 hertz and could barely do what a watch does today. I mean, it was just ridiculous.
That's what we had.
Yeah, well, that's what the Mercury NASA had in the Mercury spacecraft that John Glenn flew in.
Mhm. I'm thinking of the neuroscience development.
Okay, yeah.
Because I'm thinking of in 1932 where Dr. Gelzado
Yes, in the bull.
invited all the so he put a chip in that bull, and that was in early 30s. So they had the technology, and he had all the funding that he could get, and all the doctors. So they had to have had it back then.
Okay, well, I will tell you where microwave communication came from, and it will make a lot of sense. Narrow beam microwave communication is hold on one second, hon. Is how they communicated with the astronauts on the moon. That's how they did it. Microwave, tight beam communication. Now I'll unmute you. For some reason, your phone echoes.
My phone?
Yeah, that's all right. No big deal.
Maybe because I'm.
Yeah, but your 50s and 60s, that's when the body electric program came out. And they used that for years and years. But see, MK Ultra in the 60s was hands-on. They actually did experiments on people with needles and, machines that were like on the other side of the wall. But that's what we know. Maybe they had the capability to do this in the 60s.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm saying that's what we know. But think about when amniocentesis came out. Think about the MRI machine.
Yeah.
That's what we know of. That's what we know of. But I think, no, they weaponized neuroscience back in the 30s and 40s. So, yeah, there was a whole lot more going on than what we saw. I don't know. Who the heck knows? I mean, it makes you wonder a lot of stuff. Like where I grew up, it was Bayshore, Long Island, right? And we had the largest mental health facility in the United States. And they used to come in from all over the world. And they were giving people lobotomies like it was no tomorrow.
Yeah, that's really cruel. Somebody comes out of a lobotomy with no emotions in any direction. You're centered permanently, right in the middle.
Did you ever see Unit 7? Where is it? 7. Gosh, I forgot it now.
Oh.
It's called Unit 731, I believe. It's all the experiments they did, the Japanese and the Chinese, and we ended up buying all the, the results of all of those heinous things, the experiments that they did.
I didn't see that. I'd like to.
Yeah, look that up. Yeah, look that up.
I definitely will. I'm going to call it a night here shortly because I am really not feeling well and very tired. But
Well, thank you for
Good night,
the call.
Frank.
Appreciate
yeah, and
Thank
Dr.
you.
Black did a good job too. And thank you all. This is your call. It's not mine. But thank you so much. And
Yeah, thank you, Frank. Thank you for the call.
Tracy, you didn't speak up tonight. Shame.
I know. I'm sorry. Oh gosh, it's been a day. Let me tell you.
Okay.
Sorry, I'll talk more.
Alrighty.
On Sunday or Monday.
All right.
Okay, talk to you
Good night,
later.
everybody.
God bless all the eyes all over the world.
Guys,